Y'all can't hear me, can you? Can you hear me now? Okay, if you can hear me now, please say something in the chat. How are you guys today? Hello, Jayla. Thank you for coming back. Hello. Hello, beautiful born. Yes, okay. You guys can hear me. So, how are we doing these readings today? Is if you like and comment and share on 5 previous videos, you get a 1 card reading. Um, and if you guys want a full reading, this is how we're doing it. Okay, 1 card, $1. You will skip if you do donate. So 1 card, $1 if you do donate. $5, 5 minutes, $10, 10 minutes, and so far, so far. Now, if you want to also be eligible for reading, make sure you hit the like and share button as well. Okay, without a like, we will not give out readings. Okay. So make sure you guys can hear me today. I also have other clips that I'm going to play and just talk about what's going on in the world and how we can be a supportive system for everyone. So if you guys want a reading, definitely let me know. Like I said before, 5 previous videos are posts. Just comment, share, and like, and then you'll be on the list. Okay. And while I am doing that, hold on 1 second. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and give out um show my divine intro. So hold on 1 second. Okay, okay. So anybody want a reading? Does anybody want a reading? And how are you guys feeling today on this Thursday night? Okay. We are now in the springtime, so we're in the renewal. Things are starting to come back alive again. Things are starting to get, sunny and warm, especially where I'm from. I'm from Knoxville. So, are you guys typing? Because I don't think I can see anything. Let me see. Hold on 1 second. Can you guys hear me? Hey, Divine. Let's see. Okay. Well, is there if no one wants to do a reading, we can go into um one clip that I have that I think is very, very, very interesting. Oh, we have Spiritual Fire Queen. Hey, ooh, I love that. Oh, okay. So thank you so much, Jayla, for donating, for being our first donator. I greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate you. You know, you're one of my A1 day ones, always supporting the channel. So give it up for our girl Jayla. And she used to be with her sister. I used to call her the Madlock sister. So we can watch the first clip. Thank you, thank you. I do want y'all opinions on the clip. Also, if you want to read in, the information is at the bottom of the screen. So make sure you guys look at that to understand how we're doing the readings tonight. Okay, so the first clip I have for you is this.
Them. Yep. Your beauty needs
lady learns self-love from
them. Yep. Your beauty needs to be triggering. Let me teach you something. Let me teach you something. If you're not triggering motherfuckers, you're not really healing motherfuckers.
How do y'all feel about that? I have a lot of not a lot of opinions, but just different way I see things. And what she said really hit home because we are so not all, but there's a lot of people that are so stuck on how people see us, and we want to be liked so much that we're not actually doing people a service. And it's okay to be beautiful, raw, and authentic, because sometimes that would trigger another individual. And a lot of us, especially me, I've been in situations before where I try to tone down my personality or tone down how I feel about myself because I don't want other people to feel jealous. But really, what you're doing is you're triggering people. There's a reason why they don't feel secure within their self. So I just thought that clip was very helpful for the people that's out here. I know I have a lot of like-minded individuals to just remember, be your authentic self. Be beautiful to you. Be beautiful to you, because it doesn't matter how people see you. If they have a problem how you showing up for yourself and it's beautiful, it's triggering an insecurity with them. And sometimes that insecurity needs to be triggered or highlighted for them to grow. Okay. Also, another concept that I found very interesting is allowing people to go through their karma. If a lot of people are making the same mistakes over and over and over, and you always helping them, enabling them, they're never going to grow. Let people grow. I feel like the more, okay, Jayla, honey, she said, I feel like the more we compare each other instead of loving ourselves, the more detached from who we are. And I feel that's where we go wrong in society. Exactly. There's a lot of comparison. And I also think that plays in the media. Um, you know, Especially being in a capitalistic type of society, to where in order to be better or to be more successful, you are able to accumulate more things, or you're able to use your beauty to, go into spaces that certain people cannot go to. And it's because of resources. So I think that when you are living in a mindset of scarcity or scarcity, I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, then yes, that allow people to compare themselves, because it's like, I have to do better than this person because I need these things, if you get what I'm saying. She says society standards are not accurate, very false. Too many believe what they see. Exactly. And you know what's so funny? I had a conversation with somebody about this the other day, and they were talking about women and how they're gold diggers, or how they just want this and that from a man. I'm like, do you know any women like that? Or is that just Instagram? And they're like, well, I think it's just Instagram. And I'm like, see, it's a social construct. You, you got to look at the people around you and understand. So I think that's very, you're hitting the mark on that. You said instead of facts, everything is fake and manipulated. Is that what? Jalen got into some things, didn't she? Exactly. And I think that's why I always believe that culture, more people listen to culture and what other people do than religion, than their upbringing, than anything. Culture plays so much on how people move and think in this reality. And I think social media is one of those driving forces. Because, I mean, you can have a whole different type of life on social media. Oh, you sent your cash out. Thank you so much. So we go ahead and go into these readings. I just thought that was very interesting. Um, how some people dim their light because they don't want to trigger people, or they don't want people to look at them, or they don't want to be the main source of attention because they don't want to get any negativity. And what I say to people like that is, if your beauty trigger people, let them be triggered, because that's the only way they can heal sometimes. Okay. So let's go ahead and get to Jayla. Thank you, Eugenia. I appreciate you as well. Like I said, if you guys want a reading or a free reading, definitely let me know. So, all right, Jayla, go ahead and get into your question. And then is Jalea. Sorry, I always say Jayla. Sorry. Jalea. And then we have Eugenia. Okay. So thank you so much. So we're going to wait for Jalea. And then we have Eugenia, as always. I appreciate you guys. And also, if you guys stay till the end, I will do pick a card reading again at the end of the video. Okay. So if you're here and you want to participate in that, you definitely can. And we will basically, at the end, I will pick 3 pals. You pick the pal that you resonate with or that you want to choose. And then I will read off cards and messages within that deck of cards or that pile of cards, okay? So we're just waiting on Jalea to come back. And make sure also, I only see a couple lights. So make sure you guys hit that like button, okay? Or that heart. Oh, thank you, David. He said, keep up the good work, Divine. Oh, I really appreciate you. And you know, another thing that I found interesting that I think I want to do a series on is etymology, and that's the study of words. And I find that very, very interesting and how you can basically build with words. And if you think about words and world, the only difference is the letter L. And then that you can get into the letter L. I mean, that goes on and on and on throughout history, not just L, but EL. But the letter L in world is a right degree angle, and you build from the right degree angles. So the only word, you know, and if you go to religion like the Bible, first it was the word, and depending on your words, you can build a world. So I just thought that was interesting. I'm thinking about doing an episode about that, or doing a little podcast or series about that. I think a lot of people don't, well, a lot of people I know don't really talk about etymology. I never knew it was a concept until a couple years back. I was listening to Seven Bomer. If you guys know who Seven Bomer is, he is very, very influential into how I see things, esoteric knowledge and etymology, the study of words. You guys should definitely check him out. He's on YouTube. He had a book. I never read the book, but I always listen to some of his podcasts, and I just think they're very, very interesting. But yeah, he really struck my nervous system to this concept of etymology. So I'm thinking about doing a series on that. Hi. Oh, okay. Hey, Jamie. Hi, everyone. How are you, Divine Honesty? Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, too. Thank you. Make sure you like the video if you want a free reading. This is how we're doing it today. Okay. You can either donate or you can like 5 videos, comment, and share, and then you can get a free reading that way as well. Also, I'm doing something new. Well, it's not really new, but if you guys want to come up on the chat or the video with me, I'm going to put in the link, and all you do is copy this link into your browser, which you should see it now. It's the streamyard.com. You copy that link, and then you can actually have a dialogue with me. We can go back and forth that way. So, oh, thank you, Eugenia. She said you so smart, girl. Thank you. You too. You too. My question is, okay, I love me some you. Oh, thank you so much, Eugenia. You so sweet. So let's see. We have Jalea Madlock, okay, one of the Madlock sisters. My question is, why do I still seem to have high hopes for the past and feel some type of way towards hoping for closure, when at the same I'm like, I don't need closure. I have everything I need at this moment. Well, I could tell you this on a personal level. I've been through that same thing. Then we're gonna get into your reading. But what I would say is, because you're living in two worlds. Your ideology, your past, your brain, how you're used to thinking is closure. I mean, we kind of like, this is the beginning of the chapter, this is the end of the chapter, this is a new chapter. So a lot of times, you know, his story or her story has those chapters, it has the plot, it has the, you know, it has the elements of a book. But when you don't have that closure, it's because you feel as if there's something missing. You didn't get everything you felt like you should get out that experience. But when you are also healed and healing, you see the experience from what it was and not from trying to gain more out of it. So it's that back and forth. That's how I understand it to be. But we're gonna go ahead and get into these cards, okay? So first, what I'm gonna do is get you an energy card. Stay safe. Hope to catch you sometime tomorrow. Thank you. Who is that? Guan Win. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Just dropping by to say hello. I wish I could stay, but I'm tired. I have to work in the AM. Okay, I am going to be going live Saturday morning, so make sure Okay, Jamie. Okay, thank you, Miss Grisraw. If you guys want a free reading, all you have to do is like and share and comment on 5 previous posts or videos, and then you will get a free reading. Okay, so let me go ahead and put that at the bottom of the screen. And then you can also cash up if you want a mini or full reading. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into some things. So, let's get into Jayla. Okay, so she is asking, why do she have high hopes for the past and feel like she needs to bring closure? Let's say my mind says one thing and my heart says another, which is that balance. Okay, and I feel like sometimes your heart is living within emotions and your mind is living within experience. So that's what can sometimes be the thing you have to balance. So let's get into this reading for her. Hold on one second. Ooh, hotline 12. All right, 1 or 2 or 3. Let's get another one. 19, bazing. Okay, so that's 10, 1, or 9, and 0. So with these 2 cards off the bat from the energy deck, hotline means you're trying to stay connected. Like what Drake said, you can meet me on my hotline. So basically, it's like there's still some connection, but Zhang is trying to end that connection. So this is basically just representing the balance or the imbalance going back and forth. A part of you was like, I don't need Bazang. I don't really need no extra energy out this experience. I really understand it. I really got it. On to the next. And then hotline is like, I still want to be connected to it for some reason. What is that void? Let's get deeper. Okay, let's get deeper. Let me give you a chakra card. And the first, one thing I will say, when you're able to identify what's going on with you in your inner world, you're already at a level where you can effectively understand what you need to do in order to gain balance. And that's life. Sometimes you grow, you go through things in order to become more resilient. So that's okay. Don't ever feel ashamed or a certain way because you feel imbalanced. Once you can identify that, then you can work on trying to be balanced. But if you can never see an imbalance, you would never work on it. Just like in recovery, the first thing you have to do is to admit you have a problem. So that's very intelligent of you to understand what you need to work on. Okay. So we have Trust the Ningle. This is a very interesting card. If you look at her, it looks like she has 2 people in the background or people from beyond. This can be your higher and lower self as well. And it's a very dark kind of energy. And it's basically saying, what is the feeling trying to tell you? And I think that's basically what we were saying too about what void and what connection you have to that energy that keeps you wanting to gain more out of it, such as closure. Hey, what's good, Reed? Hey, stay safe. Hope to catch you. What's good? Yeah, I never wanted to cut them out my life, but I didn't want to keep them no longer either. I've learned so much and seen it for what it is, but after a long time, there's always moments of what if. And I think that that's okay when you're not putting it into a category or putting it into your life as you're without. It's okay to say what if, or oh, this, what if we was together, but then there's another what if I find a friend like that and they're better? What if let me go out there and put myself out there, let me go out and do this and do if there's other what ifs too. So you can turn that what if that has kind of a void or emptiness feeling, and you can turn that into a possibility. We just have to have the mindset to do so. You said, and I feel so guilty for still wondering about them when the situation is so dead. That's not guilty. That's still something. You're still holding on to something through your perspective. You're making it about them, but your mind also know that you had to do that. So you can be in that same experience with a positive outcome or a positive energy towards it. Is you have to believe that. And sometimes we end things thinking that we will never be able to find that. And that could be a part of the void or the reason why you feel you need closure. Let's go ahead and get that energy. So it's like, what is this trying to tell you? If you really look at things objectively instead of subjectively, what is that experience trying to tell you? How did it trigger you? And why don't you want to let go? These are the questions you really have to ask to yourself, to think about it from a third point of view, to understand why you feel that way, because it's always going to come back to you. It's always going to come back to you. Let me go ahead and get some tarot, then I'm gonna do a chakra card, okay? Because I kind of feel like where this is going, you have to really trust that niggle, and also that niggle, like I said, is your higher and lower self. You got to trust that you made that decision. Hey, intuitive chosen. Hey, that's one of my day one A1. Hey, but yes, you just have to also trust yourself and trust in your experiences, okay? Trust that you will still have a better experience. Let's go ahead and get some more cards for you. See, look, Nine of Swords. Look at this. Okay. Nine of Swords. Swords represents but justice. Okay. You have to turn these feelings into feeling as if, you're missing out. You can't sleep, or you're worrying about this, into justice, to understand. You see how these swords are up here? She didn't know what she was doing with these swords. That's an air sign as well. You see what she don't have now? Look, she has the sword in her hand, and she has what? The scale, what represents what? Balance. We was just talking about that. So it's basically trying to tell you to balance out how you think. Make it make sense, just like I was saying, make it make sense. You had to do that. Yes, Dan Garcia, you can. All you have to do is like and share 5 videos plus this one and comment, and then you will be eligible for free reading, okay? All right, but that's basically what it's saying. It's your thinking patterns, all right? And you see that this is black behind her as well, dark, not seeing anything. You're not seeing your future, or you're not believing in your future. That's why it is. But this was balanced. You had to cut them out. You had to cut them out for your own peace. Because sometimes our karma is when we don't cut people out, and we have to deal with all that low vibrational BS because we don't want to cut them out. And that's going to cause us to have experiences with these low vibrational people. But you were able to cut them out, and now you have balance. Then a part of you is still in the dark about it, because you're still saying what if instead of saying I did what's right. But the reason why a lot of people are in that what if energy is because they feel lonely sometimes. And that's can be the biggest. I mean, being alone can play tricks on you if you're not sufficient within yourself alone. A lot of people can't be alone. It's one of the toughest battles. That's why a lot of people don't want a DIE. Okay. So this is all basically coming from you and how you got to sort out your thoughts. Let me go ahead and get you a chakra card, okay? All right, and then we can go ahead and get Eugenia, and then anybody else who wants to sit there to like and share and comment, you get a free reading as well. So look, we got the fourth chakra. Now you can look up these chakras too. There's different exercise and things to help increase your vibrations when it comes to certain chakras in your body. And the one you got that came out tonight is your 4th chakra, which is the heart chakra. And this is very interesting. Unconditional love. It says allow yourself to be open and giving and receiving love without fear of rejection. Love without you give without expectation and recognition or acknowledgement in return. When you are loving to others, you help bring out the innate love within them so they feel so uplifted, worthy, and cared for. You love yourself the way you are, and not the way you should or wish you could be. Extend this love to others and teach others how to love and respect you by how you love and respect yourself. You see that? And it's 5 posts, not just one, damn, 5 posts, okay? So you got to like and share the last 5 posts on the page. Like, share, and comment. But basically that just wrapped it up. You have to love yourself to know that you did the best thing you did for yourself and extend that to others. Also, don't have no ill feelings towards those people because it gained you the knowledge and you became more resilient. So you gain from that experience, depending on if you can see that. Okay. So with this love is saying love you enough to respect that you had to do what you had to do. Also love them to give you that perception. Now, just because you can have a unconditional love for everyone, don't mean you have to allow them in your energy. So this is basically saying you need to trust yourself more often, and you also need to understand that these experiences, whatever they were, can happen for you on a positive level as well. You just have to believe and you have to trust yourself and give those people love as well because they didn't know any better, or they would do. When you do better, when you know better, you do better. Okay, so this is that Jesus energy as well, or that Allah, wherever you want to get unconditional love, love thy neighbor. Okay. Sometimes when you know more, you have more responsibilities as well. Okay. Because ignorant is what? Bliss. Hopefully that gave you some insight. Thank you for your donation. Thank you for always supporting your girl. Everybody, please give her love and light. Okay. Sending love and light to our girl, Jalea. Thank you so much. And again, if you guys want to come up on the screen, okay? Let me put the invite back in the chat for you guys. You just copy this in your browser and then you will be able to come on. Hold on one second. So bam. You said, dang, I'm in a healthy relationship now. And now I'm like so big on self-love, but also relearning how to love my partner correctly, not the love I was raised on or shown in my childhood. And that's another times why a lot of people are unbalanced, like I was saying before, is because you're with the old pattern or the old memories or the old program that people say, and you're going to a new program. So you in the middle, you're still in the old chapter, but you're in the new chapter still thinking about the old chapter, when you can use the old chapter just a part of your story. You don't have to actually experience the old chapter. It's already been told. You can experience your new chapter, but you can use that experience from the old chapter to help you effectively understand and move forward in the new chapter. So it's just that you're in the in between right now. That's all. That's all. But hopefully that gave you, some insight. And she said, this situation has made me never want to feel disrespected or alone again. So I completely watch how I'm going to love people, not how I did in the past. And it isn't easy. You know why it isn't easy? Because you haven't done it before. Just like when you ride a bike for the first time, just like when you drive in a car for the first time. It's not going to be easy the first time. This is your first time. You have to give yourself that grace, unconditional love. You could say, you know what, this is not going to be hard, but I'm not going to be hard on myself because clearly this is the first time I'm doing this. And the mind is the biggest thing to unprogram. That's why they say when you're a child, you're able to learn two or three, languages quicker than being an adult because you're able to grasp on to things. You're not having to unlearn a lot of things. When you're an adult, especially when it comes to emotions and relationships and love and things like that, it's going to take you a minute to really learn how to do that. So have that unconditional love when it comes to yourself and move forward. Don't put too much on you. That is normal for you to feel, for that to be hard. That is normal. Okay. So hopefully that gave you some insight, girl. Okay, Eugenia. Um, you said I keep coming back to my husband, even though he's been emotionally abusive the entire 20-year marriage. I feel sorry for him because he's sick. He has been on dialysis since 1999. And all of my three kids are by him. My younger two want us to be together, and I want to be a family so bad. But he thinks since he pays all the bills, it's okay to treat me like shit. I'm so depressed. I feel like I can't make it without him. I feel so stuck. He says mean things to me and expect me to get over it. You said over it. Hold on 1 second. Okay. To get over it because he didn't. I don't know why it's not showing me the whole thing. Okay. He didn't. My childhood was bad too. I don't know what love is. And that's okay to redefine love because ultimately love is not the same for everybody. How you show and how you receive love, that's not the same for everybody. A lot of times, childhood and going forward, we are seeing love as to fill a void. So the first thing, this is why I'm trying to be single myself or being single myself, because the first thing you have to do is understand how you can love yourself. If you cannot love yourself first or even understand that concept, you really can't be in no relationships because you don't even know what love is because you don't even know how to love yourself. You don't even know what it's feel to be in love with you. So how can you then try to translate that to somebody else? You're never going to be able to do that because you don't even know. Okay, so we got intuitive. Okay, so intuitive just like 5 comments. And then Dan Garcia said he did, which I'm not seeing. But yeah, Dan Garcia, intuitive. And who else wants a reading? You welcome. You said thank you, Divine. You welcome. But if you don't love, honestly, I know it sounds so cheesy. I know a lot of people are talking about it, but I'm understanding if you cannot be alone and be sufficient within yourself, you're automatically going to put yourself in situations because you're lonely or you're craving something. Another way is, does it feel good? Love don't hurt. Then it might be frustrating. It might get on your nerves because nobody's perfect, but love don't hurt. Love won't make you feel miserable, sweetheart. So that's how you know that's not love. Because even if a person say they love you, in order for you to be in love, you have to feel loved. Okay. I think a lot of people in our generation don't know that either. And I understand you ain't never seen it before, me either. And that's it reflects in how I pick the people that I have relationships with. And they're actually, before we get into um your reading, Eugenia, I want to play this another clip because I think this also allowed me to see it from a different angle. Okay. All right. So Dan Garcia and Intuitive is next. Okay. You welcome. Thank you. Hello, Lily. Hello. I love a message. Wow, what did I just walk into? Honey, we was getting into some things. Okay, well, let me get this other clip for you guys. And I want you guys to tell me your ideas about this. So hold on. Let me get
Lady learns self-love from
her father, and that's what. Hey, listen, women don't have their father in their life. That's why it's all fucked up. Y'all men got to step up and quit being little boys out here. You hear me?
Yes, finally someone agrees with that. Where do you think a lady?
So what do y'all think about that? Especially for women, because even if your father wasn't there, because you know what my mama would always tell me, because her father was there, rest in peace to my granddaddy, but he wasn't, I don't want to say he wasn't a good father. He just wasn't a good father figure. So she really never had that type of love either. So it don't even have to be necessarily there or not. It just depends on if they that father figure. A lot of times with us as females, and this can be for males as well, we get that energy in childhood from our father. So if that's not there, or that's being misrepresented, how do we know? It has to then come from ourselves, right? Okay. So true. I didn't meet my real dad till I was 16. Wow, my real dad is addicted to drugs. He has always been addicted to drugs. So I can count on one. I probably done met my dad, been over his house at least, what, 10 times, 5 times? I want to say less than 10. You said my stepdad was abusive. You see what I'm saying? So your body subconsciously will allow situations to go allow you to experience those situations because that's what you're used to. But your brain knows the reason why your brain and you feel sad is because your brain knows this is not right. But your body is used to it. So now you have to reprogram your mind to get out that situation. So psychology is real interesting. I'm telling you. Let's go ahead and get into your reading. I'm going to start off with some oracle cards for you, okay? And then it's going to be Dan Garcia and then intuitive, okay? Let's see. Let's see. This is for our girl, Eugenia. Okay. And I think, and it's so weird because honestly, when I think about it, when I ask people, who are the people that hurt you the most in life, especially when it comes to females, it's always either men. And they always had some type of issues or with their fathers. So you're surprised what you can adapt to and find normal. Adapt to, exactly, Lily. Exactly. Let's go ahead and get, ooh. Let's see. Well, you got this card, Trust Your Eagle, the same card that came out. So it's trust your, what's that feeling trying to tell you? So your body already is kind of in alert because your mind is telling your body, hey, something's not right. Get grounded. Get grounded. So very interesting energies coming off the bat. It says, trust the Eagle. What is the Eagle telling you? And see, and I also like to represent these darker energies of herself or reflections. If you believe in ancestors or spirit guides and things like that, that can also resemble that. Also, what I like to think is your subconscious. You're in subconscious world, your background world. Because there's a lot of things that our mind pick up subconsciously and programs it, and we play it out consciously, not even knowing. And especially when it comes to things that you have been introduced to an early age. So this is telling you you're trying to step out of your subconscious memory consciously. So it's going to be very confusing to you. You have a lot of sadness and cloudiness because deep inside you know that this ain't right, but your body is still stuck in that feeling. Because once you were able to move forward, just like on R. Kelly, when a woman's fed up, now, 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 now. Once you reach that where your body and your mind on the same page, you're not going to give a fuck anymore. You're going to be very clear that you have to get out of there. And sometimes it takes years. Sometimes it takes, a woman can never do that. But once your body and your mind catch up, once this background energy align with her energy, y'all going to move forward. Y'all not going to care anymore. It's up to you to understand that. And like I was telling Jalea, you're in the perfect energy to do that because you know, you're aware. Okay. Then you get good grounded. This energy came right after. It's a beautiful energy. You see them meditating right behind a beautiful forest. I love trees. A lot of people don't know the significance of trees, but if you really look up the significance and how they, communicates and the roots and how the roots reach down to the bottoms of earth or hell and the limbs reach up to, the sky in the universe, and how the trunk is the staple. I mean, trees, I'm telling you, I hug a tree. I got my tree in my front yard. Me and my son named it Survivor. Tree hugging used to be a thing because you got to really think about it. Without trees, we wouldn't be able to survive. But anyway, it's saying get grounded. Okay. Empath, highly sensitive, connect with nature. This is another thing you need to do. Connect with nature. I felt like that before, but he always taught me into coming back. I'm so weak. Okay, but you also have to understand you're weak to those experiences. Start thinking objectively. You're feeling that energy because you're so used to it, especially if you've been with somebody for 20 years, honey. So you're not weak. It's just that you have to program your body to stop being in the old paradigm, stop being in the old program. You want a new chapter, a new identity, a new life. So therefore, I can't do the same things if I want something new. And sometimes that's very unclear because a lot of times it's really going to take you and your mental to know, do I really want to move forward? You have all these variables, your kids and all this, your kids, you're going to have to get clear. And a lot of times that's going to take getting grounded, spending time with nature, having just a clear mind, being mindful over mindfulness. That's something you can also look up on YouTube. Mindful over mindfulness. Basically, being mindful is being just aware by what's going on in your present moments right now. Because a lot of us, we're not really present in our life. And that's your present, is your present. And what I mean by that, sometimes we're rethinking about past memories, or we're anxious about the future. We're never really is present. Sometimes just take a moment to be in peace, and that will help you reconnect your mind, recalibrate your mindset. Because if you're always thinking thoughts, thoughts, just give yourself time to feel peace. Once you start allowing yourself to feel peace, you're going to understand, okay, this is not peaceful. I'm so used to peace. If you never give your mind peace, it's going to be really hard for you to understand, hey, this is not peaceful. Start giving. You said you love being by the water. I went to Calhoun's tonight by the river. Good. It was so peaceful. See, your body is showing you. Your mind is still working through you subconsciously. You're still coming out of this. Be patient with yourself. You're coming out of this. You're doing things subconsciously. See how I said that, and you said you already did it. It was so peaceful. It's catching up to you. Take your time. You've been with this for 20 years. You got your kids. You got all this. Take your time. But you also have to know it's your life and you deserve peace. No matter what, you deserve peace. Let me go ahead and get some tarot cards out for you. Okay. Let's see. Ooh, see, everything is fine. I don't know if there's something on the phone, text and media, anything like that. Sometimes you might need to get away from the media too. And you know what's so funny? I told myself this one day, I don't know when, because this is hard, is to not have any media. I mean, TVs, phones, nothing, no distractions, and see how you can reset your mind from that. Because we don't understand the subconscious things that's going on within our media. And actually, in my marketing class, um, this company got sued for the Super Bowl. It was a company that was doing an advertisement, and it was something that was so fast they didn't catch on to it until somebody was rewinding. They had recorded the Super Bowl and they rewinded, and they saw a flash of something. I'm not for sure what it is. They saw a flash of something, and they noticed that it made the people that watched it want a hamburger or something. It was like a subliminal, and they sued that company. So basically what that told me was, who else is sending subliminals through the television and through movies and through songs that we don't know? And that was actually a case. They actually took that to court. Crazy. You look it up. I'm gonna have to look that up and put that on the page for y'all. But yeah, so sometimes you have to do a cleanse of all that, because your mind, especially living in America, we are so bombarded with media and buy this and get this, and you're not good enough to this. You're not, your body need to look like this. You need to eat like this. You need to do like this. We don't really have time to just be in the present, because that's the only real time. Okay. You said, yeah, LOL, they try subliminal messaging and that's illegal. Exactly, Lily. You know what I'm talking about? You said he forgot to hang up the phone today. I heard him flirting with 2 different women. What? You see that? Wow. See, I don't understand. My cards be knowing, honey. Let me get another card. Okay, if you want to get a reading, you like and comment and share on this post and 5 other posts, and then you can get a free reading. Okay, look, 8 of Pentacles. It's time to study. You see that? It's time to study. Pentacles are values, money, coins, property. So values, put down your values. Start living with your values. What I mean is, what is your life? What you want your life to look like? Start doing it now. I want to be more peaceful, so I'm going to go on more walks. I'm going to start talking like this. I want him to be nice to me. So I'm going to start being nice to people and everybody around me. We forget that sometimes we put so much energy on the other people that we don't understand that if we want that, we have to act that way. That doesn't mean you got to stay with them. So if you want to be successful, you're already successful. Now, if I'm successful, what do successful people do? And that's when you research. What do successful people do? Let me get another card. See, Page of Wands, a new story, a new beginning, a new page. Pages signal a message or they're single a new start. She's looking. Wands represents fire energy. It represents drive, passion, okay? Action, movement. So therefore, bam, it's saying, look, also, whatever you got to do, start researching, putting your skills up. It's time for a new energy. Put your energy here because you only have this moment. You only got one shot to not miss your chance to blow because opportunity come once in a lifetime. Okay? Get grounded first. I feel like we kind of got your reading. Let me get your shot out, but I kind of got your reading. I'm going to go ahead because it's okay. What you're doing now is basically your body is telling you, okay, we're tired of this. And it has nothing. Another thing I want you to do not put someone else, and I had to learn this. I'm about to be 33. I had to learn this. What somebody do to you or how they behave has nothing to do with you. Has nothing, let me tell you, has nothing to do with you. James Baldwin, he was a civil rights poet. I think he was a poet. If anybody knows, or Arthur, one of his most memorable quotes that I remember is how somebody treats you has nothing to do with you. It has to do with them. Because a lot of people say, well, she did this or he did this, so that's why she cheat. No, that's your integrity. You're just a liar. Because if somebody cheats on me or do something I don't like, I can just break up with them. I can leave, right? You always have that choice. Don't allow someone to rob you with the choice. You have that choice. It's free will. You have the will. You have the WHEEL, the actual will to drive your own life. And you have the will, WILL, the will, the want to. I'm telling you, these names, especially the English, these words in English. Yeah, see, 7th chakra. It says grace. The grace of a higher power is with you, and you move through life knowing this truth. So you already know this. That's just that trust, that niggle. You already know. You just got to move it to the forefront, girl. It says you believe in a higher power and you know that it's within you and all around you, offering assistance and guidance. But where is that at? That's going to be in your presence. It's not going to be you thinking about the past or thinking about the future. That's going to be in your presence, okay? You surrender all your fears and burdens to a higher power, and you're open to receive grace and trust in a higher power. You are worthy. You are worthy. And you know this. That's why you're having it's some, you're having this energy saying, okay, I'm not comfortable, because you really know. Trust your niggle. Now you got this. You already know. You just got to push that energy. You just got to push your higher self, which is this subconsciousness, to the forefront and be more clear, and give yourself grace, because it's not an easy thing. A lot of women, a lot of people, even men, don't even make it out. So it's a learning, it's a learning thing. Don't say it's easy. Don't think, oh, I can do it. It's easier for people. It's easier for me to do it because I've been doing it. I ain't gonna lie. As soon as I heard up, you got to go. But see, I'm used to that. And that comes from not having a fight. That comes from not having nobody. So, everybody has their defense mechanism. But now I'm single. So it all, listen, you said if you want to know about someone, watch how they treat their mother. Woo! Waiter and waitress. Woo! That would tell you everything you need to know about them. Didn't she not just hit on this? That is so true. You should listen. Jalea says you should listen to Am I Over It Now? You just want to know. You just don't want to know. Marvin Wayans. Oh, let me look at that. Marvin Wayans. Okay, look at that. She hitting us with some knowledge. Thank you. He said he was good to his mother. Now, see, and I have to say that too, because you know what? Now that she said that just because you're good to your mother, don't mean you automatically have the same respect for women. Because you could be a mama's boy. I dated a mama's boy that was so good to his mama, but did not understand how to treat women at all. But those can still give you a clue, though, because I have met men who were horrible to their mothers and they were horrible to women, too. So most of the time, Lily, that situation can be correct, but sometimes that don't mean anything. And even though he was good to his mother, how is their relationship, though? You know, that can still play a part. Okay, Dan Garcia, you are next, but thank you, Eugenia. Let me go ahead and give you another sacred card. Go ahead and put your question in the chat, Dan. Let me give you another sacred card to help you, because getting grounded, meditating, or just going where some peaceful and not think. Make sure when you think, let's think about the present, and that can be one thought at a time. Oh my God, I'm breathing. Let me focus on breathing for 5. Oh my God, I am breathing. There's some people that wish they could breathe. Honestly, right now. Oh my God, I can walk. Let me be thankful I can walk right in this present moment. It's called mindful versus mindfulness. Look it up, and that will help you too. Sync with the moon. What is with you with the moon? Did you walk tonight? Was it tonight that you walked? Something with you about the moon. Are you a moon girl? Something that's crazy. It says sync with the moon. Look up different things with the moon. I'm not really familiar with that, but there's just something with the moon with you. I don't know. And then it was tonight that you felt peaceful. Something with that. I'm gonna have to look into that because there's something within that. It really is. So you got moon or nature at night. Look at you. Yes, it's a crescent moon. And it's so weird because my brother called me today and said, Tiara, look at the moon. Look at the moon. Not the moon. Did the moon supposed to look like that? I said, yes, it's a crescent moon. But it's so beautiful because I don't know. It's a crescent moon, and then it has a star right on top of it. I don't know what star is that, if that's a planet. But if y'all go out and look at the moon right now, you can see it, especially in Knoxville where I'm at. It's like a crescent, like a halfway C, like this. And then there's a star right above it. It's beautiful. Beautiful. But it says sync with the moon. Then there are like harvests. There are farmers, I did read, that used to plant by the moon, by the moon cycles. You know, full moon is harvest, all that. So in sense, use the moon because that's the energy that is there. Because a lot of times people forget that the moon, the sun, water, trees, earth, back in the old days, our ancestors, they knew how valuable it is. Like that's there before them, after them. You know, religion and everything, culture is just social constructs. But the nature, earth is true. That's real. You know, it's a real thing. So, and that's biology. So, syncing with the moon is biology. Did you know also that women used to sync their periods with the moon cycle? That's why our period is 28 days. The moon cycle is 28 days. Look at that. And just like it's, I mean, look, the moon is something special. It's also a lot of psychic, intuitive, because, you know, night is the hidden realm. You can get into that too. That can help you too. But I'm also seeing, like I said, get grounded, being more mindful, and also being grace over yourself. Having grace. It's okay. What you're doing is perfectly normal. Look at it objectively and not subjectively. I feel like that's my biggest thing I can do. I don't really put myself like, oh my God, he's treating me so bad. It's like, it's more of, do I want to be with somebody that treat me like that? And you don't have to put, he treats me like that. Oh, girl, it would have been, if it's not you, with somebody else. That's just him. Okay, Mr. Holland said it's a planet. There were 5 planets visible in a line last night. Wow! And I told my brother, I said, I don't know what that is. And see, I had brought my son 2 years ago this telescope, and I cannot figure it out. But my son, since he was born, since he could speak, will always look out and be like, "The moon, mommy, the moon." Like, since that's like one of his first words. He's been so, infatuated with the moon. But now, he got his iPad and stuff. So I'm trying to take him off of that and start getting him back looking at the moon and science. But It had to be a planet. I was like, is that Venus? That's very interesting. I'm gonna look that up tonight. I'll put it on the page too to see exactly what planet that is. So if y'all can see that, and Mr. Holland said it's a planet. There were 5 of them visible in the line last night. I didn't even see that. I used to be so big in astrology. Astronomy. It says I've always been a night person. Me too. I've always, that's why my sleep schedule messed up now. I've always been a night person. But yes, telling you start doing that at night. Also, guided meditations. It's something y'all can look up on YouTube. Scriptures, if you're religious, just start putting as much goodness. When you do start thinking and you do, let me come into my peaceful moment. I want some media. I want some, we want to see something. Start doing good stuff. Start putting good stuff in your life. Strength, motivation. Start consuming that in your mind, because your mind also has a subconscious and a conscious, and they both work. And sometimes when a lot of people don't realize how much the subconscious play a part in your everyday life, and it also can hold you back. Okay. You said the Venus. Okay, thank you, Mr. Holland. So he gave us the link that we can look up to see about the planets. So it was Jupiter, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and Uranus. And also, you guys, they've been saying that Pluto is going into Aquarius. I don't know a lot about this, but Pluto, yes, you can. You can text me. Yes, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely, definitely. Yes. So Lily said it was Jupiter. That's the planet of Sagittarius, Mercury, Venus, Uranus, and Mars. Wow. Wow. Okay, we're about to look that up. Yeah, I'm gonna look that up tonight. Y'all gonna have me look now. I'm about to really look up. But I do believe celestial bodies of energy has an impact on us as well. Now, social constructs is a little bit more impactful because that's what we ingrain ourselves to. But they're saying that Pluto isn't a planet now. I heard that it's supposed to be an expo planet or something like that. I heard that. You said thank you so much, Divine. Thank you. And thank you for always supporting the channel. Thank you for always donating. I greatly appreciate you. And y'all can definitely hit me up, and I will do the best I can. Anybody, please send out healing energy, positive vibrations to our girl Eugenia. And you can always, message me, text me. I'm do my best to help. I understand I've been through similar situations. I'm not perfect myself, but you will get through this. I do know that. I do know that, because look what you're doing. You're already doing it. You're already doing it. You're going to get through it, and don't be subjective. Whatever that person do to you, just know that you wouldn't do that. That has nothing to do with you. This is the biggest thing I feel like we could take away. Have grace on people, have grace on yourself, because if he knew better, he would do better. He just don't know. That has nothing to do with you. You don't want to be around people who don't know. Okay? You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome. And like I said before, I'm going to have a pick a card reading where you pick pals at the end, 1, 2, or 3, whatever you're drawn to, and then I'll read your messages from those 2 at the end. Okay. So, who was next? Was it David or Intuitive? If you're in the chat right now and you guys want a reading, let me know. Also, if you guys want to come up on the screen, I'm posting the link again into the chat. I only had one person do that, and I definitely understand, especially when you're off guard. You're welcome, Eugenia girl. But yes, okay, Dan Garcia, thank you. Okay, so you guys are both here, great. So we'll go ahead and do Dan. Go ahead and put your question in, sweetheart, and then I'm gonna do Intuitive. Okay. You said in that song I mentioned, it says, I've tried to explain the pain, but I guess let me post this up here. In that song I mentioned, it says, I tried to explain the pain, but I guess you just don't want to know, but I'm over it now. And that's another. Ignorance is bliss. A lot of people like to choose ignorance. They don't want to know because they don't want to accept accountability or responsibility. So that's a little message within a message. They try, and sometimes you got to be more objective as well. And I just really feel like that helps a long way. I'm not saying be disconnected, because we're all connected, but sometimes the person you need to explain the pain to is you. That's to me another way of trying to get closure. Because it's like, I want you to understand me, understand me. It don't matter if you understand you. You just got to go vibrate and be in a space where other people understand you. And I feel like a lot of times that's what it is, because a lot of people say we got to communicate. It has to be communication. But I think another part of communication is comprehension. If somebody just don't understand, how it's not your job to make them to understand. It's not. Now, maybe you like this, or maybe I like this. Okay, yes. But I have to make you understand that you're hurting me, that it's pain. For what? It's still going to cause you pain. But that's a very deep. I'm going to look at that some, because, honey, I can keep talking and talking. I can keep talking and talking. Okay, so Dan, you welcome. Just a general, I sure will. Thank you, Dan. Thank you for coming through. I appreciate you supporting the channel. You said, "Oh, you're heartbroken." I know it's okay. Listen, it's okay, y'all. It's okay. Because you know what? Sometimes you know what I be thinking? Because I think about how long the earth and space has been into existence. Billions of years compared to how long we live, what, 70? And that just depends. It could be quicker than that. We all gonna die anyways. I mean, I'm not saying it in that type of energy, but be happy. If you have to think about, if I can just be grateful for what I have now, I should, because who knows what tomorrow brings. I'm not here forever. This pain is literally, it will not last forever, because I will not be here. Everything is so temporary. So try to remember that too. You control your world, because you can control who comes in and out of it. And that's why communication is so prevalent today as well. But think about all the communication we're holding in our subconscious and our conscious. I mean, the stuff gets deep. But start to look, when people are doing you bad, you got to look at things subjectively and objectively. Subjectively, understanding, okay, this don't feel right. Objectively, to understand, that doesn't mean there's something wrong with me. The only thing you can really assign yourself to is if you're showing that energy too. Now you got to be responsible too. What are you doing? If you know for sure I'm not doing anything, then you need to just remove yourself. A lot of people don't understand the power of silence and the power of walking away. Because I know I was talking to someone, and the biggest thing he told me one day is that the woman who just ghosted him and left him, didn't say nothing, actually allow him to see what was wrong. Not the women who came and argued and screamed and blah, blah, blah. Because it's a game to some people. Like, oh, they're used to that. They're used to you arguing and screaming and trying to explain herself. But they're not used to a person that's saying, F it, and just leaving and blocking. Now they wondering, oh my God, what happened? Then they have all the questions. Now he wanted to hear what she had to say. But she was done. Just like I said, when a woman's fed up, you're going to get fed up. But how much of life it's going to take for you to be fed up, though? When you know better, you do better. Okay. So let's go ahead and do Garcia. Sorry about that. I know you like, dang. Okay, I'm gonna do you since you've been waiting. I'm gonna do an oracle card and a chakra card for you, sir. Okay. And thank you for following the channel. Hopefully you are. Okay, so this is for Dan Garcia. Okay, what is the energy for Dan Garcia? Ooh, so family. Ooh, look at dolphins. Ooh, I love this energy. The meaning of the minds with animals and to me, there's two different realms. There's the water realm, which is more loose, and then there's the earth. Okay, so you have land and sea, and then you have, what'd you say? Okay. So many people like drama too much, right? It should never take all that. It really shouldn't. You're right, Lily. But when you have the sea and the land, it comes together and it makes what? The shore. All right. So I'm saying balancing that. So in my opinion, the water, that's more of an emotional energy. The land, the ground is more of solid reality. So it's saying a peaceful of mind. Okay, so I'm saying to get into with your emotions. And it's also saying call in your tribe. You don't have to do this alone. So it's saying there are people that can relate to you. There are people that are on your same vibration. You're not alone. We're never alone. So this is what this energy is saying. We're never alone. And also it's about balance. When you can balance your emotions plus your emotions, 111 on the clock, you guys, 111 is 111. I do believe in synchronicities. And and if it's not for nothing, because I know a lot of people, they say, oh, it's just numbers, it don't mean anything. In my mind, anything can program your brain. We know this for a fact. Anything of colors. I mean, I graduated with a bachelor's in marketing. There's certain colors actually increase appetites and stuff like that. That's why you see most fast food either in red or yellow. Red means passion. So we think a lot of things don't matter actually matter on a subconscious level. So if you see these numbers, make your own meaning. What's going on right now? Make a wish. You can program your mind. Okay. And numbers and time is one of the best ways to do that because it's reoccurring. So it's 111. All right. Let's get another. Let me do another oracle card for you, sir. And then we're going to do a chakra card for you. But it's saying basically be balanced. When you have energy plus motion, it's emotions. And the quickest way to get to understand something, to live out experiences through your emotions. I'm not the type of spiritualist or person that's like you shouldn't be angry, you shouldn't be sad. No, you need to feel that to get yourself up out of certain situations. Because if you was just feeling happy each time, you'd be happy in hell. You need anger. You need that. It's how it's how you can transmute that energy, though. That's a whole nother level of alchemy, honey. Y'all can look that up. That's deep too. That's esoteric knowledge. But yeah, you some energies you need to have to modify a certain situation because you feel it. It's your heart. Okay. And this says just say yes. You got the pyramid in the back. Okay. And if you got light orbs, okay, pyramids, in my opinion, is the energy source. Did y'all know that at the top of the pyramids used to be a white, I think it was white stone, and basically it would reflect the sun. And basically the pyramids sit on, I think it was the equator. I don't know, but basically it's an energy source. That's how I view it. And it's saying say yes to that energy. I'm saying right now, Dan, you're going through, look at both of these cards. They're both purple, blue, morning type of energy, waking up. So I'm saying you're coming in a new space or you're heading into a new space. And basically what this is, make sure you're emotionally available. Say yes. Get yourself into opportunities to create. Whatever that looks like, say yes. We got one life. Okay? Even if you believe in reincarnation, you got one life with this one body right now. Act like it. I gotta tell myself that too. Act like it. Let me get you a chakra. Okay, you got the second chakra. You can look these up too. The second chakra. It says sensuality. You encourage yourself to express your sensuality through your emotions. Creatively. Didn't I just say that? Okay, using all your faculties such as touch, voice, action, and your creative abilities such as art, craft, music, acting, cooking, gardening, writing, etc. You practice being aware and enjoying your senses, being nourished and stimulated by the natural world, such as landscapes, people, weather, animals, aromas, sounds. And that's so interesting because that's basically what it's saying. Like, be present. When I think, oh, I'm awake, I'm awaking, I need to be awake. People say, I'm woke. I don't see it as, oh, because I feel like there's two different narratives. One narrative is I know I know what's going on. The another narrative is being awake by being present. Like, oh my God, one day when I start understanding mindfulness mindfulness, which I'm glad I'm bringing this up because I'm gonna have to start doing this now that I remember. I remember, and I learned this from my philosophy teacher at Pellissippi, off of Western Avenue, not Western Avenue, Liberty Street, off of Sutherland. Y'all know where that Pellissippi? Because you know we got like 3 branches in Knoxville. I know if you're not in Knoxville, y'all like, what? But I had a philosophy teacher. Oh my goodness. I learned, this is when I first heard of the concept of mindfulness, of a mind over mindful. And it's having your mind full and this being aware of what's going on. And I used to see the most beautiful landscapes because I started realizing that they were there. I start to hear the most beautiful sounds because I start to realize they were there. And I was so happy. And I find myself when I get stressed to just do that because we forget we have senses, we have life. We take the little things for granted because we want to live in this world of a social construct with society tell us, you know? So very interesting. You said it was copper and generated energy. I know it. We got to talk. Yes. The pyramids were basically power plants. That's what I believe. It was copper on top and water underneath, generating enough energy to power cities today. I knew it. I knew it was something deeper than that. That makes perfect sense. I always felt like the pyramids was just not there to hold tombs for kings or pharaohs. I knew it was something deeper than that. I knew it. That makes perfect sense. And especially they're aligned. I don't know if it's Osiris. I don't know if they're aligned to a constellation or Osiris or a constellation, which is a group of stars, which are suns. Because I didn't know this either. I don't know if y'all know this. I mean, that's what I'm saying. When we understand nature, nature is our God. That's how I believe. Because we don't understand that. I didn't know this until I took 2 years ago when I took my college in earth science and space. The sun is a star. Now, if you think about religion, you start thinking about all kinds of stuff you would see what they're saying. But the sun is a star, and constellations are a group of stars. And when you look at all those stars you see, there are suns. And who is the sun too, Jesus? And who is a star? Celebrities. And we look up to celebrities and we call them stars. I mean, I'm telling you, I have to do a video. When I tell y'all, when I start understanding etymology, I start seeing it everywhere. But look at Melissa giving us some that, honey. Yes, she said, I agree with that. Look, she's an architect student. She said, I'm an architect student, and you definitely look at things differently and appreciate how things are made, especially materially. Exactly. You see, because you're aware. And it's so weird to me, not even weird, but just fascinating that early cultures did that. They were more into the nature and worshiping the nature. Now we're more into like AI and media and social constructs and stars and celebrity man-made stuff. Because even with you naming celebrity stars, that's a man-made thing, or that's a human. But there's actually stars out there that there's probably more stars than humans. Oh, you said Orion's belt. Okay, is Orion's belt, is that the constellation that makes stars? See, I can talk about this all day. Look, but it also follows the winter and summer solstice, which if you really want to get into that, the winter and summer solstice, they've been what's that word? Ritualizing those dates, but those are now like Christmas and it's Easter. I'm telling you, that's why a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses, they don't celebrate that because they think that it comes from paganistic ideology, which is the winter and the summer solstice. But the winter and the summer solstice is actually just astronomy. It's the winter solstice, I want to say, which is the day and the night having the exact amount of time. It's like just something that happens in in our universe through our planets. It's not even anything. I mean, it's spiritual if you think about it, because like I said, back then our ancestors, nature and the cycles were very spiritual. Now it's just like we can put on a clock. We don't care about it. But back then it was very spiritual to them. You said the 3 stars are Orion belts, just like the 3 biggest pyramids. That makes sense. I knew it was aligning with something. See, I'm glad you came on this live with. I'm glad you did, because I know I wasn't tripping. I know I heard that. Exactly. I know I heard that. And how would they know all that? Because people used to look at the stars. And you know what's so funny? Because I still believe in religion and to a certain extent, and I still have, a great connection with the Bible and stuff like that. And when I was getting into tarot, a lot of people would say, you can't look at the stars and things like that. That's going against God. And I'm like, but the three wise men follow the North Star to follow Jesus. Back then, all they had was astrology. So it's very weird how it's a whole disconnect now. And it's like it doesn't matter about what's in the stars or what's in the sky. It matters about what's in the Bible that a person made. And now you have your own star. But also, who else they made a star? Jesus, because he is now the sun, which the sun is a star. Am I tripping? But anyways, you said thank you, beautiful. Thank you. But basically, Garcia, it's saying for you to be more present as well, for you to take it's telling you to be creative, to create, to use your energy, to increase your energy. That's what it's saying. That's the general message I have for you today, sweetheart. Sorry, I'll be getting off in tangents, but I love when I can speak to like-minded individuals and talk, because I can't usually do that. I don't have no one to honestly talk to me about things that I'm interested in. So when I do, I go off in a tangent. So I'm sorry, you guys, but thank you. You said, oh, add me into the video. Okay, yes. Let me put the link back in here. Hold on one second. You said makes so much sense. Yes. Okay, here's the link. So we're going to get Wes. Yes, come on, because I would love to hear about this. Yes, and you know what? I'm so glad I do these readings tonight, because I need to remember that as well. But the mind over mindfulness, when I tell you, it is so profound. It will change your life if you can remember, because that's what he did. Because I asked he was this old white man, he had white hair. I'm just telling you, his light, his aura, you could tell it's just very peaceful. Like, this man was very peaceful, very calm, just peaceful. And I'm like, oh my goodness, he's so peaceful. And I would love to just hear him speak. And I asked him, how are you so peaceful? And he told me about mindful versus mindfulness. I'm like, and it works. It works. So you said with somebody, same. That's why I came here. Nobody else understands you. Exactly. This is and then one of his cards too, Dan, is Soul Tribe. This is our Soul Tribe. What? Hey, Complex. Oh, I like that. Complexiana. I like that. You say I'm new to your page. Hey, thank you for coming to the page. We greatly appreciate you. If you want a reading, all you have to do is like and share and comment on 5 posts, and you can get a free reading. So that's how we're doing that today. Or if you want to donate, you can. It's optional. You don't have to. I appreciate it. But one card, $1, which I give out more than that. 5 minutes, 10. But I usually just do until I get the point across. If there's not a lot of people, until you feel, sufficient. But yes, that's optional, whatever you like. But you can definitely just stay here to the end. Like I said before, I am doing pick a card reading, which I would just add some cards to 3 different piles, and then you basically pick that pile, and I'll read you a message, okay? And like I was saying last live, I know Eugenia was here, and we was cracking up, because a lot of people think that a lot of tarot readers like ask spirits and they ask like gods to help them out, and I do not. I am the spirit. I am the God. I don't really ask, Yes, you can share 5 posts or comment, like, or share. Either one. You comment, like, or share. Yes. But while we're doing that, we're going to go ahead and bring Wes. So Wes is in the building, Wes Holland. Everyone definitely give a warm welcome to Wes. And let me add you to the stream. Hey, thank you so much for coming on.
No problem.
Let me see if I can hear you. Hold on one second.
Okay.
Can y'all still hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. So yes.
So you know what you were saying about the summer and winter solstice, right? So
right.
A lot of
Christianity, is really strange to me. And I say that because if you look at Jesus, there's been 12 basically Jesuses from different religions throughout history,
Let's talk
Um,
about it.
the thing with Egyptian, whether you want to call it religion or history or, both, because it's kind of both. The funny
Right.
thing about that is like they predate Christianity, but like for like thousands of years, but they also have pretty much like the same story of, being born by a virgin, all that stuff,
Mhm.
right? So
Mhm.
what you were talking about with Christians and paganism. So one
Right.
thing that a lot of people that I'll say like are Christian religious, right?
Mhm.
They pick and choose what they want to interject or take away from the Bible. And like two of the things that you spoke on, okay, so the winter solstice, primarily the reason why, well, two things. One is the pagans already worshipped like the sun god and everything like that, right? So
Mhm.
when the Council of Nicaea come about and they made Rome they made the actual religion of the Roman Empire, Christianity. The reason why they did things the way they did is the pagans already worshiped the sun god. So they already had a Christmas tree. And so they brought Christmas trees in the wintertime, one to bring greenery and light into the homes, because like everything's dead in the winter, but
Mm.
evergreens are always green. Well, they decorated it with silver and gold to worship the sun god. So when the Council of Nicaea come together and they made everything the way it is in the Bible now, um, they specifically used the same dates that the pagans use, which is December 25th for the summer. It was the winter solstice celebration, but they did that because they thought it was easier for them to convert people over to Christianity with no problem. And they did the same thing with Easter. So Easter, Estar was the fertility god. So the Easter eggs, fertility god. Same thing. It was
That
more
makes
about the spring and everything being birthed and new for the summer and like that. So they say that Jesus was born, or like the crucifixion and all that happened. Well, Jesus was really born probably in the springtime, but they used December and all that stuff to come over Easter. They did the same thing when they done Easter and Easter Sunday and Passover and all that stuff. So there's so much of paganism that's intertwined into Christianity because it was easier for them to get everybody to convert over without a problem, without issues. And so if you follow history and you even go back to like ancient Samaria, Babylon and things like that, um,
Mhm.
I'm not saying Christianity is wrong. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying
Right.
throughout history, Christianity's been manipulated and used for agendas, whether it was religious or whether like women not having rights. There was specific
Mhm.
Bibles and canons that were found in the Dead Sea Scrolls that were not included in the Bible. Or and then
Mhm.
when King James redone it, it was still an agenda. And I tell
Mhm.
people, like, how do you have somebody that wrote the book on demonology also wrote the most famous Christian text as well? Like, that's kind of weird, but nobody talks about that. Um, but yeah, there's so much to it. And like going back to the pyramids, there's so much information that was misinformation throughout the years. Um, but if you go back and look at like the real history of it, like there was so much more technology back then. Like a lot of the cities for the Aztec, the Inca, and the Mayans, the way that their pyramids and the way that their cities are set up are just like circuit boards on a computer. And so like you can go, like if you look at the aerial views of them, it's circuit board. I mean, technology. It looks the exact same. So the ley lines that run through the earth, like if you research it, where there's major pyramids, they're all on like the same axis of certain things. So
Like
there's a good
longitude and
possibility.
latitude or something like that?
Yeah, and like the grids are triangular in the way that they go around the world in different ways. But if you follow them in a certain pattern, is where you're going to find like all your major civilizations from
I think I seen
prehistoric
some.
times, like Machu Picchu. You've got like all the Aztec, the Incas, the pyramids in Egypt. We talk about the three major pyramids in Gaza Strip,
Right.
but there's like hundreds and hundreds more of pyramids that were there. Um, the thing is, like, they're all on like energy planes. So like they probably could have been connected. Like, how else do people do that? Like, I mean, it's
Right.
to like a tenth of a degree of correctness. Like, there's stuff that they did that we can't even do today.
We can't do.
And so like everybody's like, oh, well, you know, like they were dumb back then. They didn't have technology.
Right.
You know, they had more technology than what we have now, because they can do everything to such precision that we still don't know how they do it. And what I think happened, honestly, is just like how they burned like the the Library of Alexandria. There's so much
Yes.
lost information that we regress. Like, how do we have all that and then go through the Dark Ages? Like,
This was about to say the Dark Ages. But another thing that is interesting too is that a lot of people don't know is a lot of stuff is stuck in the ocean, because you know that our continents were originally one big continent called Pangea.
Yeah.
So we don't know what's really, because talk about Atlantis and everything like that. So who's to say we are the most involved culture?
Right. And I say it like this too, like there's stuff that, like, I like history, so like it's interesting, fun to me, but there's so much stuff, like, to know that like Greek, and this is like thousands of years ago, had heated floors and they had hot water and they had running
Really?
yeah. So what they did is they had aquifers, right? It's where they got all their water from.
Is that where they had canals coming through the? I remember that. Okay.
Yeah. So they did, but and some of like it's kind of like how it is today. You have like your upper class people and you have like your medium class and then like your lower class back then. So the upper class, the way that they heated their floors is they had spacing in between the floors to where water would run there, but then it also had coals to heat up, so when they walked on the floor it was warm. So it's because it was tile. And they also had hot water for their toilets. Like, they had sewer systems, they had everything that we have today, but the way that they did theirs was different, because like now we do everything on like a flat plane and we got plumbing and we know how to make it work. They did everything on certain degrees, and so it made the water flow a certain way. So even back to ancient Samaria, they had running water, they had fountains, they had toilets. Like,
So let me ask you something before I'm sorry for interrupting.
you're fine.
So back when there were like slavery, back in America, when they didn't have plumbing, what happened?
Well, I think, honestly, I think what happened is, and this is kind of my opinion, right? So back then, whenever you went to war with somebody, and it's kind of like what they're doing in Iraq today, like they're destroying all of the ancient Samaria's stuff. So that's kind of customary. When you took over somebody's stuff, you burnt everything down, you destroyed tablets, you broke everything. Well, within doing that, I think that's where the technology gap becomes lost. And then you have to think too, like America, North America is, as a country, we're younger than most places in the world.
Yeah.
But there was, again, you have to follow history. So the Native Americans were actually the Inca, the Aztec, and the Mayan that migrated up this way, because you follow corn. Corn's not indigenous to America. It come from Central, and South America. So whatever happened, and a lot of it was they had such populations in most of their places where they didn't have fresh water. So there was famine, there was a lot of stuff. So they started moving north. So if you really think about, Native Americans, they're really Mexican people from previous, civilizations. And as they grew up this way, just like we try to say Columbus founded America, the Vikings were here, like the Chinese were here 2,500 years before.
Wait a minute, hold on. You saying Chinese and the Vikings were here before Christopher Columbus?
Yeah. So the way that I know that, and the way that what I've read and researched, is the way that the Chinese used anchors were rocks with holes in the middle. They found them all around, or basically all around like the East Coast up north. And so like they're pretty sure, like there's pyramids in the Grand Canyon, like not pyramids.
I heard
like
that too.
But there's like, Egyptian artifacts, there's Egyptian hieroglyphs, there's all that stuff. And it's
in the Grand Canyon.
But it's hidden because nobody can really access it. But it is here. So you have to think, Polynesian people were the best water people in history. They were all over the world. So what a lot of what we're taught is not necessarily true, because it's all about whitewash and everything, right? Christopher Columbus was a jackass. He was a terrible person, you know. But it was the agenda to get control, because you have to keep in mind, back then you wanted to claim land. And that was all it is about,
because it's resources.
Right. And so that's like I tell people, that's like what we did to Haiti. They stripped them of the resources, and the only reason why they couldn't do it to Africa is because Africa is such a big continent. If it would have been small like Haiti, it would have been done the same thing. And then that's why Haiti's in such bad shape today, is because they were stripped of all their resources. And a lot of people don't understand, in Africa, like, there's money in Africa. Like, there's cities just like booming, just like kind of like what you think in Black Panther. Like, they really exist. They're just not talked about, because everything is so whitewashed. So again, it's the control mechanism of it, right? So it's kind of like, if you go throughout history, everything is about power and control. And this is back to ancient times, right? So when it comes to Jesus, and I think a lot of it too is like, you have to read different religious texts. Like the Bhagavad Gita, you have to read, the Quran, and you'll find so many similarities in the religion. But we as the people are extremists. So we make, like I tell people, I'm not anti-Christian. I don't want to sound like that, but there's been more people murdered in the name of Christianity throughout history than all the other religions.
Let's talk about the Crusaders.
Right. Yeah. Like, oh yeah.
The Crusades.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of, how do I say it? I don't want to sound rude. There's just a lot of misinformation, but it's like up to the people, because if you talk to most Christians, they've not even read the Bible themselves. They're listening to what the particular pastor or person that they listen to. And like, I tell people, like, I'm more spiritual. Like, I'm not a religious person. I'm spiritual, but I do believe like in a higher being. But I think as people, we've gotten it wrong, because Christianity is rules. Like, hell probably doesn't exist. It was a fear tactic. It's just a control mechanism, just like how, like I tell people, like, okay, like you had the 12 disciples that were with Jesus. Okay. You take away Judas, you still have 11 left, right? So after he's crucified, how is it that the canons from those people were left out the Bible, and those are the people that were closest to Jesus? You got Mary Magdalene left out on purpose. You got Mother Mary left out.
No women, Arthur.
Right. And again, that was because women didn't have power back then. So when you look at the agendas that were done, and like I tell people, like, they're like, oh, well, God put in the Bible what he wanted in the Bible. You don't know that. We got free will.
No. Man wrote the Bible. There's everybody, and that's what I tell people. Every person that wrote the story, they say Moses wrote the first. Because if you really want to get technical, the Old Testament is actually the Torah, which is the Jew, which is a Hebrew. The New Testament is with the Romans, because the Romans are the ones that actually killed Jesus, which is named through etymology. The letter J didn't even exist.
Right.
Because like just now, like the Spanish, they don't have a letter J. It's Jose. H is, so that wasn't his name. His name was Yahweh or Yahshua.
Yeah.
His name is more of Joshua. So it's so funny how you can tell through history. You can try to, change things, but history is history. You really can't change that.
Right. And so that's like I tell people too, like, I think it's like, this is going to sound bad, but I don't care. I think it's hilarious that people try to convince other people that Jesus was white. Like, it's not possible.
It's not possible.
At the time, like, everybody was they might not have been black, but they were of color in that area. And so, like, I tell people, like, if you look at people's genes and you look at the oldest places on earth, they come from, like, Ethiopia. They come from other places that are going to be in the Middle East, which, Egypt is in Africa. It might not be in the middle, but it's still considered Africa.
Yeah.
And so, like, you had all these cultures, but they were of color, right? So again, the whitewashing happened. But if you go back and you look at the oldest places that they found to where there were settlements, right? And it's going to be places where people were in the hot desert, right? So I'll tell people, let's think about this logically for a minute, right?
Right.
The debate of white and black. So let's break this down a little bit. So everybody's like, well, all right, facial features is the easiest one for me. And this is the best way that I can explain it, right? So if you're in a high, like dry area that's hot, you have to have bigger nostrils to get more air to your brain. You got to be able to breathe. You have melanin to combat the sun, the rays and all that, right? So as people walked about the earth and moved around, we went to colder climates. So that's how Europeans come about and fair-skinned people. That's why nostrils are more thin, because you don't want the cold air going to your brain to freeze your brain. So you look at yourself like that. That's why, like, you know, like it's pretty obvious to see those things. But we don't, like, it's like one of those things that they don't want to give it credence, because it's like once you give a little bit and you tell the true story, like it takes away so many hundreds of years of the oppression, right?
The oppression.
And so like it's easier for people, like, and I think a lot of people like, yeah, you know what, that makes sense, but I won't agree with it publicly, because then as soon as I accept that and I acknowledge it, now I have to act accordingly.
Right.
So they don't want to act accordingly. They just want to be like, oh, you know, it's easier being dumb and naive because you don't have that responsibility.
Ignorance bliss. I just said that.
Yeah. So there, and like there's so much to it. It's like hard to really put it into like one type of formula. But like history doesn't lie. Like it may lie on the surface, but if you really look at things, you'll start to see so many similarities in ancient cultures. You'll start to see like their gods, like, you know, even before Jesus, in like cultures, there was multiple gods, but there was one God above all. And like nobody talks about that. So like they want to be like, oh, you know, like Jesus and like, you know, when it comes to being like a multi-god and a singular God, like there was a singular God. He was a God of all gods. I'm telling people, like, how do we not know that that's not the same God that Christians see that the Jews saw? But it's just a different way a different people saw that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like the same thing. Like I tell people, when you look at all other religions, most of them have a singular being. But see, there was so many times in the Bible, like we know that Jesus leaves for 40 days. We know that he takes sabbaticals. How is it not ever talked about that maybe these other cultures are seeing the same person through a different mentality? You know what I'm saying?
Perspective.
So like I believe like it's the same person, but he has to go to these people in a way that he can relate to them, or she, like whatever, it's just the higher being.
The same energy.
Yeah. And
I feel like it's a consciousness.
Yeah.
That's my opinion, because if just like now, if I try to bring something to you and you're not consciously aware of it, you're not going to understand it.
Right. Yeah.
Regardless. And I mean, even with that, I think that our main purpose, this is something I believe, because you have religions, but eventually they become mythology.
Yeah.
The only difference is time.
Right.
So we are evolving.
Yeah.
I believe that, and we are evolved depending on our environment, what we need. And I believe that's the power of being a human too. That's the power of being alive. Everything evolves depending on the environment or different variables. And I believe we can still do that. And the certain religions, eventually they turn into myth because that culture had to evolve and the religion followed it. And what I tell people is, you can still have Jesus within you. Who's to say that's the last book? Because it was man-made. We don't know for sure who those people was talking to. We didn't do no fact check.
Right.
They can say they talked to Jesus and they talked, but how do we know? We're taking their story.
Right. And
it has been translated hundreds of times.
Yeah, and the thing with that is, like, back then they didn't write nothing down. Like they did later on, but like in the first part they didn't. Everything was oral translation. So like I tell people, and if you look at Christianity, there's so many different forms of Christianity, and that derives from the 11 disciples that were left. Because you have to keep in mind that as soon as Jesus was crucified, it was illegal for them to worship Jesus and be a Christian. So Christianity went underground, but there was different sets, right? Kind of like today, there was 11 different people telling their story from their perspective and their personal experience of the time with Jesus, right? So of course, there's going to be some correlation, there's going to be some similarities, but there's also going to be differences. So it's kind of like now, that's why you have Southern Baptist,
Mormon,
Presbyterian, Mormon, with a whatever it's called,
7-day Adventist,
yeah,
Jehovah's Witness.
So that's why you have so many of those. And just like if you look at Catholic, there's different versions of Catholic. Like there's really starch Catholic, there's other different forms, and that comes like that's where that kind of generates from, is because it went underground and they worshipped it like separately until they could, like, because you get killed. You know what I'm saying? Like they would kill you if they found out. So that's why Christianity is so broken in a lot of ways.
Like magic.
Yeah.
It was killing people who, just like in America, they was killing witches, the Salem witch trials.
Yeah. But then they really wasn't even witches. It was just them trying to take the land and do all the crazy shit they were trying to do. So it go, and if you go back to kind of like looking at like, okay, like I tell people, like when they took the slaves from Africa in Haiti, they made those people become Christians because it was like in the Bible when it's talking about the Hebrew slaves and all this stuff. They used that to try to say, hey, you need to be a good slave, obey your masters. But they took the religion away from those people. And so like I tell people, like if you look at voodoo is not a bad religion. It can be used for bad, but it's not its true form, and hoodoo is not negative. It's the religion
perception, just like anything.
Yes, but see, it's kind of like you have to keep in mind that the reason why it's got a negative connotation today is because they use that to take away religion from the people that they stole from their own lands, because they were spiritualists. They worship the dirt, the air, the earth, like everything. That's what voodoo and all
and
that
the
is about.
reason why they had to stop that is because they had to gain those resources. So if a culture is worshiping that, in order to take their resources from them, they can't worship that anymore. Then you give them this concept of something. So that's what happened. It was the trade-off. I tell people that too. It was from the resources, because think about it. Even now, Native Americans, the pipeline, they're still fighting. We worship this. We don't worship it because we want oil. But eventually that's what's going on now? Contamination in our water.
Yeah.
Our air being polluted. That would never happen if it was ran by Native Americans, because they actually worship.
Right.
You see? Yeah. Go ahead. My bad. I had to make that point.
No, you're fine. And so like I tell people, if you look at like one thing that pissed me off is when people be like, oh man, slavery was 400 years ago. Like, no, man, like this is some real shit. So like, there was a slave ship that come into Alabama illegally, right? And they lied about it. They sunk it. And it wasn't until just like 2 years ago that they actually started looking for the ship. They found it. But it was called African Town in Alabama. And so there's a book that one of the slaves wrote about, and they were stolen and brought here illegally because the captain said we can do it. Like, even though, the law was passed to where like you couldn't have slaves anymore and they abolished it, they still wanted to bring it was called like the last slave ship to come to America. Well, the captain got caught and they burnt the ship. And so like there was some people that survived, and they were the ones that founded African Town, right? And the oral translation, these guys talked about it and told their grandkids and grandkids, but nobody believed it because the mayor of the town, who also owns most of the land now, like stole the people basically, right? And long story short, they found the ship, and so they proved that all the stuff is real, like the story was true. And it's a great book. I'll send it to you. It's a great book. Yeah. But what I'm trying to say is, even like slavery may have been around 400 years ago, it's only been like 200 years maybe since slavery had stopped. But the thing about it,
still have civil war segregation.
Well,
the people who, it's still so much to it.
Well, like I tell people, this is the way I really look at it, right? So you got slavery was abolished. We didn't have paid for prisons at the time. The slave masters become the prison people because when they had all these free slaves, they didn't know what to do with them. You have to keep in mind how this shit worked too. So you had all the white people that had slaves to do all the work. They wasn't inclined to do anything. So when Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, you had all these people that were skilled. They were afraid of losing their jobs. They were afraid of losing their land to the former slaves. So what do? You start locking them in jails. It's the same. They use the same chains, handcuffs, and all that was the same. Still had the same labels that they used for the slave chains. They just they profited from it still because they built that's the original for-profit.
For-profit, and then they have to build stuff like license plates and stuff like 2 cents.
So they still slaves, right? Nothing changed.
I never thought about it like that. That's creepy.
Yeah. So then you fast forward, you still had lynchings and all that stuff happening through the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, right? Well, the 60s come, you start to have people make movement. Martin Luther King, Stokely Carmichael. You have all these people, but they assassinate and kill all of them, right? So I tell people it's easy to control people if they have no leaders, right?
Now look at their stars, look at their sons.
Yeah, so you start taking away the people that's trying to gain some momentum to bring people together. Then in the 70s, you had the Black Panthers. They wasn't militarized to go and terrorize. They were militarized to protect. The same stuff that come about from them today, like most of your free lunch for schools, that was from the Black Panthers. You had free medical assistance. That come from the Black Panthers. They took that and intertwined it into the government. Then they started bringing crack cocaine into the same thing. So I tell people, think about this. You had all these black people that were going to Vietnam and fighting, getting hooked on heroin and shit like that. They come back to America. We start pushing dope into the inner cities where there are. Start taking the man out the household, demasculating the man, and you're telling the women that, hey, you can get these free benefits if the man's not in the household. You start putting liquor stores on every corner to keep them doped up in the mind. How can you win with that? It's a systematic oppression.
It's systematic oppression. And I think that in order to, and I think a lot of people don't realize this, because I do believe in the black culture coming together, but I do believe the reason why it is a color thing is because of class.
Yeah, it's classism.
Because you're big classism. So somebody got to be at the bottom, but what a lot of people don't understand, this is why I believe that people need to come together, is because there's more people, no matter what color you is, it's in the same class.
Right. Yeah. And this is the funny thing about that.
They keeping them divided, thinking it's about a color, when really it's about class, and it's always been like that.
Yeah. And so you have to think too, back during slavery, you had like the house slaves that were fair skinned. The darker people were the field slaves.
The Willie Lynch theory.
Yeah, and so and that's a real thing. So you have to think that even back in slavery times, like when they used to butt break the males and demasculate them and rape them in front of their wives and all this shit, like it was all mental warfare and psychological warfare, right? So you still have some of the same issues that you deal with some of the culture today is still from those times. So you have to keep in mind that the way our bodies work metaphysically and physically. So this is where it gets really deep, right? So you pass like fear. It's passed on to us now because of fear of the dark when there was no light at nighttime. So
we just talked about that last week.
Yeah. So as like time has gone on, genetically we pass certain traits down onto ourselves. Some of this stuff is, I won't say it's real, but it is real, but it's not. So like fear is a learned trait. You're not you're not born to be fearful. You learn that through your parents, through your ancestors, right? So the same stuff that was happening during slavery, the mental effects of that is still relevant today. You still have all the stuff, because it's going to take a lot more time to start breaking some of those chains of the mental stuff that goes on. And that's the part that everybody don't want to talk about, especially other white people. They're like, well, I don't understand. Well, no, motherfucker, you can't, because your family was like, you might not directly profited from slavery, but somewhere down the line, your family probably did, because the profits that was made from slave-free labor, somewhere down your line, somebody probably profited from it, right? And to me, that's the part that people miss. But again, it goes back to, as soon as you acknowledge it, you have to change your whole narrative. And that's what they don't want to do, because you give up the power. They don't want to give up the power. And so that's like today, if you look at the way that the system is made, right? So white people are like 84% of the population. So when you think of
Right.
food stamps, government assistance, we have the bigger majority of that because we're the more popular
Majority.
people. Right. So but if you think it's like most people think of it, they think of people of color. And
Mhm.
they do that on purpose because it's still to hold and oppress stuff down.
Mhm.
Mathematically, it don't make sense. So what I tell people is, as you have more mixed people come into America, come into the world, because now everybody mixing, you know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
as far
That's
as
true.
cultures, as far as children, the white people is really on the outside looking in, because like you can have two white people make a brown baby, but you know what I'm saying? Like two
You can have two black people make a white baby, but you
right,
can't have two white people make a
make a
black
brown,
baby.
right.
And you know what's funny? If I can just interject, I
Yeah.
used to date this African, and
Mhm.
they believe that what happened. I don't know if this is true or not. I think
Mhm.
more like what you said, depending on because I think it was Darwinism or
Mhm.
Charles Darwin that brought that I remember talking about how depending on your environment, your body changes, which is so
Mhm.
beautiful when you think about the cells, and we came from
Mhm.
an actual single cell. We can get
Mhm.
deep into that. But anyway, then it copied itself,
Right.
just like the God theory. But anyways,
Yeah.
but they said that what happened was black people started having albinos,
Right.
and they could not sustain the heat. And that's what made them leave. That's what he said he heard. And I thought that was I've
Yeah.
never heard that
Well,
before, but I
yeah,
just thought
and
that
I
was
think that's probably true to an extent, but
to an extent,
you have
right.
to think of it like this, like so in the African sun in the desert, you don't wear a lot of clothing.
Right.
You go to the cold climates, what do? You start killing animals, you start covering up. You lose that connection with the sun. Your body changes. Metaphysically and
Yep.
physically, you start to change. On a cellular
Yep.
level, you start to
On the
change.
cellular.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to really look at those things. Like that's why, like if you look at Russia, the Ukraine, Germany, that's why all these people are like super white, blonde
Mm-hmm.
hair and all that. But what a lot of people don't know is there's a whole community culture in Africa that have like they dark as hell and have bright blue eyes
And blue eyes and blonde hair, and
and
there a
blonde hair.
lot of them are Madagascar.
Yep.
It's an island off the coast.
Yeah. And so
Mm-hmm.
some of this stuff, like you can debunk it by being stupid if you want to, but if you really sit back and look at it, you'd be like, "Damn, ain't no way this is possible the way it's told."
Mm-hmm.
So
It's
like
not
just like how they don't they don't want to teach the real black history in schools now. They trying to block it from being taught
critical
because
theory.
yeah.
But see, the thing is, and it's because what I heard about that is white
Mhm.
guilt. And they don't want white
Could be.
people to feel guilty. But I feel like that's because y'all are not putting accountability and y'all not highlighting the white people who did say no.
You're right.
There's this man I just put on my social media on my story the other day. He was a white man that kidnapped white kids to try to show them this is how it feels when you kidnap black kids from their community. He lived in a cave. I forgot his name, but I posted that video.
Wow.
There was a lot of white people that were not okay with it. And I feel like they don't want to tell their stories either, because that really will unite the class.
The class, yeah.
Because it's a class thing, it's a money thing,
Yeah.
really, it's a power thing. It's under the illusion of racism.
Yeah, and
And I
that's
think
like
that's why they don't
Yep.
want us to come together, because at the end of the day, I have white neighbors that go through the same thing as me. You know what I mean? We're still the same. We just don't have we don't have the resources and the power, because it has to, in order for a few people to have power, a lot of people can't.
Right. And if you
So
look at
that's
like
the
yes.
energy. It's not really about
Yeah.
they want y'all to be, at least you're not black.
Well, and see, here's the thing. If you keep and this is like goes along with what you're saying, right? If you keep a certain class of people so divided that they fight amongst themselves, they cannot possibly ever get ahead in life.
Exactly.
Period. Because they too busy doing
Fighting
all this other
themselves.
shit. Yeah. So that's how the top 1%, they don't give a damn about color. They care about green, money,
exactly,
power, and they don't want to give it
resources.
up. So like I tell people, this is crazy, because like what I do with my business, right? I keep up with a lot of numbers. I'm very analytical. Do you know that 85% of people in America don't even have $500 in a savings or a bank account? Just think about this. 85% of
85%?
look it up. 85% of the population of America
I didn't
does
know
not
it
even
was that
have
much.
500. Yeah, don't even have $500 in their bank account, right? To be in
Wow.
to be in the top 15% of income is only $100,000. And so you think about it, how much money does the 1 or 2% have to have for
That
$100,000 to be in the top 15? The top 10 is only maybe like 300 or so, 300,000. And you think about that, that's a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money.
is not a lot of
Like
money.
it's
When
very
you
much
think about it, if 15% is 100,000, I would think the top percent is 1 billion.
right. So think about this. So of that 85% of people that don't make the top 15, how little money do they have to have
Wow.
for a nation? You feel what I'm saying? So if you think
So
about this,
most people are poor.
poor, yes. And so like you look at the poverty line across America, the medium of income is barely $40,000. So
So is 40,000 medium or poverty?
well, so it is right there at the borderline. But think about how many millions of people in the US don't even make $40,000. And this is 2-income households. So think about that. So think about how resource deprived we really are. Think about how financially illiterate as a whole we really are. And think about how like the easiest way to become a millionaire is to own real estate. Most people don't even own a home if you look at the numbers. Like there's a lot of people that do, but there's always way more people that have to rent because of the income levels. So even if you have good credit, you don't make enough money to even purchase your own house.
How much would you say if you make about $40,000 to $42,000 a year, you can, how much of a loan if you have a fair to good credit limit could you get?
I mean, it really depends on your debt to income ratio. So the
Oh,
credit
okay.
score, you just got to be at 640 or whatever. But the bigger picture is you can't afford much house. So what's happening now? And if you look at your bigger cities like Atlanta, and this is another thing, right? So you have to take everything into consideration. Airbnb was great during COVID. It boomed, like made people tons of money, but it really screwed up the housing market. And let me tell you why, especially the rental market. You started taking subleases on long-term properties. So now you have short-term rentals, right? You took the short-term rentals, or sorry, you took the short-term rentals and took away the long-term tenants because they're not going to sign leases because you're buying it and you're short-term leasing it out to make money. So that's why Atlanta, Miami, bigger cities are only allow you to have 1 or 2 Airbnbs now. Like they limit it in certain areas of the city because it was not leaving any housing for regular rental folk that were looking to do like a 1 year or 2 year lease. So when you look at the housing market, specifically on how the rental market is, right? Even if you have good credit, you still got to have quite a bit of money to purchase a home because house prices are so high right now that making 40,000, you might not even find a home in your price range. So even if you're approved for a loan as a first-time home buyer, you still have to have your 3.5% down. So average down payment and closing costs on a home right now is anywhere between 10 to 15,000. So how many people you know that make 40 grand have $10,000 to go put down on a home?
Nobody.
And then even if you do USDA or you're a vet and you do a VA loan, it's 100% financing. Like you still have to have surplus of income in your bank account to be approved for the loan because they want you to have a certain amount in the bank to cover your bills if you've got unemployed. So they want to see a 3 to 6 month surplus. How many people do you know? Go back to what I say: 85% of Americans don't have $500 in their bank account on a consistent basis. So everything is really a setup financially for the top 1% to win. So if you think about credit, you think about most of everything that's taught isn't taught unless you're of a certain class. So that goes in line with everything that's happened throughout history. That's why the slave masters didn't want to give up the power of the slaves because they knew that that was income. Everything was income driven. So that's why the Civil War really happened the way it did.
Mhm.
It wasn't about slaves, but it was indirectly because they didn't want to lose their free labor. Because it's
Right.
money. Like you
Because
don't
of the
think about this.
industrial area and
Yeah,
the
so think about
industrial
this. Like think about Jeff Bezos. Okay, he's making all that money with people he's paying in the labor force. But think if he had all those employees that were
that were
free.
slave.
Yes. Think about how much money and control
You
you
would've
have.
made.
So you have to look at
And
everything.
then
in
on top of
context.
that, labor rights that wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
Medical care wouldn't exist. How
Yeah.
much money he probably been a trillionaire. by now.
Yeah. And so you have to look at everything in its context of that, right? So even the stuff that we deal with today on a modern worldly level, we're still very much the same as it's always been for hundreds and thousands of years. And so as Americans, I see it every day to where like people really want to get ahead. They try to get ahead, but it's not a black or white thing. It's an income
It's a
and
class
deprived
thing.
of resources. And you know, unfortunately, most of the people are uneducated on financial literacy, on correct savings, and then you throw so much inaccurate information at them and keep them so stupid and confused, and that's part of the game too. So like what I teach my clients and I try to tell everybody is you can't play the game unless you know the rules. How can you possibly get ahead if you don't even know how to play the damn game? And nobody will teach you how to play the game because they're so afraid that if, like, think about this, if that 85% of Americans learned how to do what the top 1% do, now everybody's on the same level.
Yeah.
And that's what they don't want. And so that's why you keep the news. If you watch the news, it's negative, 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 negative. It's never really anything positive.
But just like the Greeks back then, they created the stadium, the entertainments, and they called them stars. Like, look at them now.
Yeah.
Entertainment.
Yeah.
And then, you know, another thing, that's why I say the Bible got jewels in it too. For example, the love of all evil is the love of money, which is also AKA to me power. The love of money, love of resources, the root to all evil, which is true.
Yeah.
In order for you to have a lot of power, some people don't. A lot more people don't. And I think that's what is going on. We think it's racism, which it is still racism because unfortunately there are people that still believe in it. But I feel like that is a byproduct of classism, which always exists.
But you know what I laugh at, man, and I've ever since I was a kid, like I was always different. I've always been different than most people, right? but I always laughed at these people that like the racist people that I met in my life were the brokest, most uneducated. Like they were like you were like the same people you hate. You are those people. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you looked on like the other white people look at you the same way. You just look at them different. And it's because that's the only thing that they can feel powerful.
And that's the reason why they feel like they're better, so they don't look at what's really going on. If they feel like I'm better than you, I don't really have to look at the fact that I'm basically I'm still a slave to the system. Don't have a
but see, here's the thing. They're so ignorant that they don't even know and realize that
they've also been brainwashed too.
Right.
And even with the Black community, if you look at the values and what's being shown too, we're playing ourselves too. It's a lot. And that's why I was speaking to Eugenia, that there's a lot of media that's out here that we are subconsciously putting in our body and consciously living out.
Yeah.
We don't even know that. Because I don't think a lot of things in the media, and I think that's why a lot of people are having problems now with TikTok. They're trying to ban TikTok. They're trying to ban because they don't want independent thinkers. Because I did another video where most companies, 5%, no, it was 95% of all the companies and corporation and medias is owned by like 100 and something people.
Oh, yeah. It's
like different corporations, like you would have General Mills, then they're connected with, a network channel, and they also own a car system. They also own this and this, and it's all in one big corporation.
Yeah, and check this out. Here's the funny part about that. Most of them are Jews, white Jews. And so
that's
like
why
I told
Kanye
people,
had a problem.
That's what I'm about to say. Like everybody don't want to talk like Kanye crazy, but
he ain't crazy.
But think about this. This is how smart this man is. And I'm gonna say it like this. And I tell people we have this, like I have a friend, we want to do a podcast. but we have to be very careful to be
You have
politically
to.
correct with it because like we want to speak truth, but we both have businesses and like we realize that sometimes you can't speak on certain things. But let's just think about this. Like everybody want to play Kanye like he crazy. He got
Right.
out of his Adidas deal without penalty. Got like he had parts of there and that Adidas didn't even know. They thought they were fitting to get over on him, but he acted a controversy, got out of his deal that he was trying to get out of anyways without penalty, right? Then come to find out he still owned all the rights to the design shoes. So Adidas couldn't even take his name off of them and rebrand them because he owned the designs. Guess what? Now Adidas is working out a deal to do more business with him. So see, he controlled his whole narrative while everybody talking about he crazy and this and that. But this is what I say, even going back to the Kyrie thing that just recently happened. The book that he referenced in the video, I've read those, I've watched them.
You have?
Yes. Here's my take on it, right? And I don't think it's politically correct, but it is what it is. So I had a debate with another white guy about it when the Kyrie stuff was going on. I'm like, have you read the books? No, of course you haven't. But you're going to say he's anti-Semitic. How is he anti-Semitic by just saying that the black people were the original Jews, which they were because at the time there wasn't white people in those areas.
That's another, and I got into it with someone too. I haven't read it. I'm gonna say, I said, what did he say that was anti-Semitic? I need to know what was it. And black people was only. He said black people was. They're basically trying to strip it away from the real Jews or something. I said, but anti-Semitic means you hate.
Right.
What did he say? Hatefully.
Well, but this is this is what I'm saying. So debating with the white guy at the gym, this is how they look at it, right? He was like, well, that's the definition of anti-Semitic. I'm like, how? Like, he's still for Jewish people. He was like just saying it from the black, like you have black Christians, you have black Buddhists, you have like, what the fuck is the difference? So
Yeah.
just by saying that, and then like, where did he tell a lie when you say that they control all the money in the world? Because they do.
They do. They been.
So nothing that was said by Kanye or Kyrie was really taken out of context, nor was it really a negative condemnation towards the Jewish people. The problem that they have with it is they don't want to relinquish their fucking power. And so they know if people start looking into it and they start, hey, you know what, that makes sense. Like, hold up, man. So like,
and then I know it was weird too when you would see, it's like if you say something about the Jews contracts and stuff, but you can basically kill a nigga and say all kinds of shit, but a nigga, you would get even more deals. That's how I knew, okay, something ain't right with that. Because you mean to tell me that he could sit here and make a whole rap about killing niggas all damn day, but as soon as he say black people are the real Jews, he's done?
Well, here's the funny thing, man. If you really like research Kanye, you look into him, he's a genius. I think
I was trying to tell people that too, because how he do things, genius are only a lot of geniuses that we think like Albert Einstein, all these people, they really don't get noticed, and you really get caught crazy at first.
And you know why that is? Like in Kanye's case, like if you research him and look at him, he's so smart, he just has trouble articulating things down to where people can understand it, right? You go back to Kyrie, everything he said about, and it wasn't negative, but everything he said proved right because he lost all his deals. So that proved the point right there, just like Kanye. He lost all his deals. But guess what? Kanye, if he really wanted to, got enough money to where if he wanted to just make his own shoe, because like this debate I had, people didn't buy Adidas because they like fucking Adidas. They bought Adidas because of Kanye. So this is where they messed up. Like, and the Beyonce people gonna kick my ass. But look,
that's what I was about to say. They try to buy Beyonce, but she didn't provide, and it failed.
It failed
because Beyonce doesn't have that same power as Kanye when it comes to
Beyonce is a music industry god.
Yeah.
But fashion, Kanye is a god.
Beats her out. Yeah.
Yes. And so where they thought we'll get rid of Kanye, we'll bring in Beyonce. We're not gonna get money.
Nigga versus nigga. They been doing that, nigga versus nigga. That's crazy.
And it don't surprise me if they would try to bid off the Kanye Jay-Z type of thing anyways. But like I tell people, man, it's crazy that we call people crazy because they're more misunderstood than anything. But like a lot of stuff that they say, like they will not be at the level of success that they was if they was
they were so crazy. That's why I told my mom he can't be that crazy and he's was a billionaire.
Like let's say it like this. Can you name one thing that okay, like this is crazy. So Jay-Z's a billionaire, Rihanna's a billionaire, Kanye's a billionaire, Beyonce's a billionaire, LeBron's a billionaire. They all were around, like that was a direct correlation with Jay-Z. Because LeBron signed with Rock Nation. So even though he got it on the court.
Wait a minute, huh?
Yeah, so Rock Nation is LeBron's manager, sports manager, right? So a lot of people don't know this, that even though LeBron made all his money on the court, most of his money come from deals outside of court, which Jay-Z and Rock Nation helped him sign. So in the song that Jay-Z was talking about, like they had Faison, I can't stand his fat ass. He was on TV talking about it, and he was like, I don't understand that lyric. Jay-Z said in that song, 4 billionaires. Well, he said, how many billionaires you know me? I can name 3, me, Ree, and B. He said, oh, but you got to include LeBron because he's part of Rock Nation too. Dude's like, how the hell he can say that? I'm like, bro, because he helped them sign all his deals. So he was the gateway for this man making his billions. Yes, he made a lot on the court, but most of his money come from endorsements. You have to have
LeBron is a billionaire?
Yeah. And so, like, you think about it, who else can you name in the world that 4 billionaires come from the same person's influence? It ain't nobody. And so, like,
only if they're family.
Yeah. So when you look at it, like, I don't know any other way to say it, but like, these folks are not crazy. Let the world tell it. And it's easy. That's how you break and tear people down. You know what I'm saying? Like you try to take that power away from them. Yeah, you try to take the power away from them. And so, excuse me. So like you look at all this, like I said, I pay attention to a lot of stuff because I'm analytical. I'm a person that forms my own opinions. I never listen to what nobody else have to say. Like I'll listen to their opinion, be like, okay, cool, that sound right. I'm finna go research it and find out, right? Like my homeboy, like 20 years ago, was telling me, like, bro, don't celebrate Christmas, man. If you want to be technical, that's blasphemy against God because it directly says in the Bible, do not worship
Jehovah.
Is
he a Jehovah Witness?
No, I don't know. He's just kind of his own thing.
Okay, because Jehovah Witness feel the same way.
Yeah, so like he went to college and man just come back and like we from a small town here in Georgia, so he go to college and come back and we like this motherfucker crazy, but like he was really talking real stuff that he learned. But like it does say in the Bible, don't worship the tree donned in silver and gold. Like it's telling you not to have a Christmas tree. It states that in the Bible. So like I had a friend that she real super religious and all this, and she posted that I'm not celebrating Christmas anymore and all that. And I'm like, well, while you at it, don't celebrate Easter with an Easter bunny. Don't take no damn Easter bunny pictures and eggs and all this other stuff. Like it's just like it's tit for tat.
You mean to tell me the same people was telling me I shouldn't do tarot is the same thing they said that you're not supposed to celebrate Christmas? I wish I would have known this energy. Nothing in the Bible. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, looking up in the Bible, there's whole Bible verses about it that talk about the Christmas tree.
It's Jeremiah 10:3. It says, for the practices of the people are worthless. They cut a tree out of the forest. This is Jeremiah 10:3-4. In craftsman's shapes in its chisel. They adorn it with silver and gold. And they fasten it with hammer. And you think about when I was just talking about the symbolization of the tree. Now think about that. It's the same thing they did. Jesus, and then his is a cross. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're fine. So what their references, what I was telling you, is when the pagans during the winter solstice would bring the tree in the house, nail it to the floor, and put Christmas ornaments on it. Or I don't want to say Christmas, but that's what we do today. But they put the silver and gold on it as part of worshiping their pagan gods. The sun god. And so when it talks about that in the Bible, that's what it's talking about. So
I wish I would have known that. Bro.
Yeah. So this is the thing that I tell people, like so many people pick and choose a parts of the Bible of when it works for their agenda or for what they're trying to say. But quite literally, like if you were to take it as literal, no Christian should even have a Christmas tree. That's why, like, what religion is the one religion that don't celebrate? Jehovah's Witness. They don't celebrate Christmas at all because they go by the Old Testament, like very much the Old Testament. And so they don't eat pork. They don't do a lot of stuff. Like they still have a lot of Jewish relationships with the Old Testament, right? So you have to keep in mind that like a lot of the stuff that the Bible says not to do, like Christians will still do, but then like they're being blasphemy because it's comfortable. It's heartwarming to them. It's what they've always done. So just like Krampus and Santa Claus. Like Krampus used
Yeah.
to steal kids. Like, is a demon.
But
But
you think about it, where did Santa Claus even has to do with the Bible and Jesus? I always
Nothing.
knew it didn't even
Nothing.
make sense because it was like, what?
But let's wrap this up into a whole. Christmas dates as far as the solstice was paganism. Krampus was a pagan monster god that, you know, you had to leave certain stuff out or it's still your children. That's why there's so much correlation with Christmas, the Christmas gifts, the coal for Santa. All that stuff is multiple different religions mixed into one to make the people convert and be comfortable with it, right? So that's why they say Kris Kringle was a saint, because if somebody's a saint, it's easier to wrap them up with Jesus and Christ than it would be to say Christmas tree is paganism, Krampus was a pagan god. You feel what I'm saying? So you have to really kind of think outside the boxes how history does those things. So there's a lot of really messed up stuff that goes on, but nobody talks about it because most people, like 90% of the people, don't know that there's even a text in the Bible that talks about Christmas trees.
I didn't know. I'm not wrong.
Yeah. And so like this is what's funny. Like when I talk to my buddy Mari, man, we'll talk about it and he'll be like, man, you used to call me crazy back then. I'm like, well, bro, that did sound kind of crazy. But then when I started getting my like I don't want to consider myself a woke person because I hate that term because there's so many fake woke people that don't know shit. But when you start to research stuff and you learn, you can't unlearn these things and it sticks with you. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like this, like if I put up a Christmas tree, I'm putting up a Christmas tree just because I want to. I still know the whole story behind it, right? But there's some people
more about tradition.
Yeah.
And memories.
Yeah, but like you have to think, even in Britannia, these were pagan people. Like everybody was pagan until Christ, except for the Jews. Outside of them, everybody was pagan. Every other religion in the world is considered paganism by definition.
So what is paganism?
So yeah, so like if you look up the definition and you'll see it's basically any other person that don't worship Christ.
What?
So like the Muslims, they're not pagans, but everybody else in the world, they would be considered pagans.
It says paganism encompasses a diverse community with some groups concentrating on specific tradition, practice, and elements such as ecology, witchcraft, Celtic, or certain gods. Wiccans, Druids, yeah, like you said.
Everybody.
Everybody else.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. And so even Egyptians, or like you'll hear people reference them as pagans. But here's the thing, like a lot of pagan traditions come from Egyptian stuff. Some of the first pagan, like the sun god.
I always knew it. And that's why they say if you're scared, go to church, because that's the reason why you go. Mm-hmm. And I told my mama that too. You know, but we had a big, come into reality. And because I'm the only person in my family, well, besides my brother, but I'm the only person in my family that always knew something ain't right. I always knew this is not out. And the reason how I knew is because once I learned that Black people were slaves first and we didn't know English, I knew that, hey, that's the slave master's religion. I always said, like, that's not even ours because we don't even know English. Our ancestors didn't even know English. So I knew. And then when they told me, when I asked, if you are a Christian, how could y'all have slaves? And somebody told me because in Noah, Ham got cursed or Noah, something like that. And now we were slaves. And I was like, that's just, you mean something that happened back in the flood. Now we're slaves now. That's never. And you think about the beginning of the who actually wrote the Old Testament. The 5 first book is Moses. And you think about his story, because my favorite movie of all time was the Egypt. I forgot it's a Disney movie. What is it? It was my favorite Disney movie.
Oh, talking about the pharaohs.
Yes, it was. What was it? The Egyptian. It was something. But what they told me, what I got out of it, was Moses came through on a river. The Egyptian queen at the time took him into her own. In my mind, he knew he was never going to be king or pharaoh because it wasn't his blood right. So he basically killed, because he said he got mad and killed
the soldier.
A soldier that was whooping a slave to build the pyramids. But how I knew that wasn't the truth is when he wandered the desert for 40 years and
Mhm.
got the 10 commandments and told them that they couldn't worship nothing but this.
Mhm.
That's how I knew he just wanted power. And I was trying
Well,
to explain it to my mama, like, because he knew he would never get that. And he went
right.
back and forth with them with the plagues and stuff, with the
Stuff.
same
Yeah.
thing they
Yeah.
was doing. He already knew because he lived as an Egyptian.
Right. And like this, I'll tell you something that's gonna mind blow you a little bit, right? So look this up. It's happening now, like within like right now in real time. So
In
outside,
Israel,
no. This is Egypt. So in the Valley of the Kings, right? That's where they buried all of the kings, and there's queens there. They just haven't found them yet because the Egyptians at times they did not have women of power, but then they had women that were pharaohs, right? So
right, like
Nefertiti,
Nefertiti.
Nefertiti was a pharaoh. They just tried to erase her from history. So in the Valley of the Kings, and keep in mind that during the pyramids, they've still not found no evidence that slaves built the pyramids. They found evidence on the contrary that all these people were very skilled craftsmen.
Real quick, had to be.
Right. So in
They had to be. That's like people building our stuff now.
yeah,
How I knew that didn't make any sense. Like these people just couldn't be ordinary people.
right.
Like
So here's what's going to blow your mind. For the first time ever, they found camps in the Valley of the Kings that were mass producing the items that were to go into the graves of the pharaohs. It was kind of like, and it's like a whole city that's built. But these are craftsmen. One people were making the beads, one people were making the gold, one people were doing this, and they all worked in the community. They were not slaves, and they were very high in society that were doing these. So for the first time in history, the one guy has found them, and like they just had a documentary about it, but the season had to end, so they didn't get to finish the excavation. They think that they found even bigger people than King Tut in the history of Egyptians. They think that they found several of the queens that were actually pharaohs, and found all this information, like knew it, like it basically rewrites the whole history of Egypt.
I knew they didn't have all Egypt because
Mm-mm.
if you've seen on the hieroglyph, I seen this one hieroglyph. These people had light bulbs bigger than them. They had
Yeah,
laptops. You know what I'm talking about? I was
yeah.
like, they don't know because these are the same people that went through the Black Plague.
Mm-hmm.
Like all they had to do was wash up. Like there's a lot of, and not just that, the Black Plague that killed people in the
Yeah.
Dark Ages. They had a whole Dark Ages, but not everybody else
Mm-hmm.
was in the Dark Age. So it's like I
No, it
asked my
was just
teacher
that,
that.
yeah, just the
I said,
European
when Europe
content.
was in the Dark Age, where were everybody else at? Because that was not the whole world. And she
Mm-mm.
didn't even answer me.
Mm-mm. No, but here's what's really fascinating when you think about that. So when you think about the Dark Ages, you talk about like the 1400s, 1300s, and
Yeah.
things like that. You have the Crusades going on. There's
Mm-hmm.
no mention of what the hell's going on in Egypt at that time.
And
Like
that's what I
nobody
asked
speaks on it.
her.
Yeah, nobody
Because
speaks
I
about it.
always asked them, what about Africa? Nobody
Mm-mm,
knew. I was
mm-mm,
like,
mm-mm.
when
And
they refer to them, it's like um there were hunter and gatherers.
yeah,
But did you ever hear about this called Adam's calendar
mm-hmm,
in South Africa,
mm-hmm.
where it's a older geological site, older than
Oh,
the Stone Age,
yes,
that they
yes.
said that came together? Like
Mm-hmm.
what?
And
But go
like
ahead, my bad.
here's some other stuff that I think is funny too. So like most of our politics, the way our government set up is the same thing as what the Romans used. Not only that, our calendar is not in chronological order.
Yes, makes sense
They
because
they they
October
made
should
it,
be 8.
yeah, and so like they made different things to formulate it the way they did. So if you go back, like again, time's not real.
Right,
It's just relevant in how you try to control it. So
right,
time is everlasting, like the universe is ever
hmm
expanding.
right.
Time here on Earth is different than in space.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's a lot of parallels and things that go with that as well. But everything that we do as people over, like, not just in America, but like just history of the world, is done in a manner to control and give time and names to things, and you want to date things and all this stuff, right? So it's all about the control, it's all about the power. But even in the earlier days and forms, a lot of stuff was going on that we don't even understand today. There's so much gaps in history,
Mhm.
and like, so like they fill it in with what we think we know. But like, let's think about this realistically. There's pyramids, there's buildings from 8,000-10,000 years ago. If I build a house today and I let it sit for 10 years, that motherfucker falling apart.
Right,
So like
right.
they had to have some type of technology, because they shit still, we can go see it today.
Right,
And there would
they
be
had
more
to
if we
have.
destroy it.
There's no way that they built a damn. They have a light bulb on a
That is,
damn hieroglyphic. That's
yeah.
what I knew. What? I was like,
Yeah.
am I the only one seeing that?
Not only that, but it had power cables, a positive and a negative side. So like
I'm
you go
scared.
back
I
and
knew
you
there were.
research it. Yeah, if you go back and research it, that's where they feel like they had power inside the pyramid. Like, well, of course it was power, but they think they had running like electricity basically through the cities as well. Again, go back and research and look up just the correlation between circuitry in
Let me go
ancient.
because I'm putting all this in my tabs because I'm gonna make me some episodes of this.
Yeah. So
Circuit
like,
courts, the same as ancient
yeah, so
cities.
look up circuit board, or like circuit board correlation to ancient city layouts.
To ancient. Ooh, thank you for. Let me get back. Oh my goodness, let me get back into these reads. I've like, but you got me some good topics because I was wondering what topics I'm gonna talk about. It's the first thing that came up is Teotihuacan, Teotihu. Okay, I'm gonna have to look up that. Oh, that is
It's almost identical.
interesting.
It's almost identical.
We don't know everything, and that's what I
Oh
tell
no.
people today. The greatest thing. That's what I was going to say about our purpose and evolution. How I truly feel, and I don't know nobody else that really feel this way, but I feel like our purpose here, and it's hidden, but it's here. It's creation. We talk about the creator. We talk about the creations. It's creation. We're evolving. We're to create our experience. That's what it is.
And I'll say this one last thing, and then I'm gonna go to bed. So when Kanye was talking about "I am a God," he's very literally saying that we were made in the like of the gods. We are godlike because we can create, we can pre-create, we can get an idea and we can make that come to life. Like we are very much literally gods, to where we can do all. Like we may not be able to do the things that the Most High do, because there's levels to it, but we do have the power to create and do things in a certain manner. So we are godlike. And so it's like, it's not blasphemy to say that we are gods. Like we have the God molecule in us, just like every portion of life. Like our DNA is made up of plants, dirt, everything that's in the world. So we are life. We are, in a way we're everlasting, because they already proved that when you die, your energy shoots up into the outer space. They can track it.
Wait a minute. But you sound muffled.
Okay.
You say that last part again.
Yeah, so like when we die, they have already proved, like there's a scientist that proves that when somebody passes away, they can see our energy shoot into the space. It's like a line. So it's like think of it as like a light, and look this up too. When we pass away, our energy lives on because it shoots out into space. And space is everlasting. So when it shoots out, it's forever going. It's crazy what they don't want us to know. And a lot of
it makes sense because energy never dies.
And so think about this. We have to absorb energy to live. When we eat, we're absorbing energy. Animals, they have to absorb energy. If we don't eat, we die.
Right. Oh, I'm gonna have to look. Thank you so much for coming over here. I knew we was gonna have a meeting of the minds because wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to send me some books. We're gonna have to,
conversate
because
like I said, I've got like 450 books. I've read 3/4 of them, so it's kind of like I've got books on everything.
Have you ever read the Kabbalion?
I've got that.
I lost my book. I don't know. I would love to have that book again because I feel like it's a derivative from the Mayat, the laws of Mayat, which is a Kemetic religion, which is like prior to Egypt or whatever.
Yeah.
But and I love their laws, and I love theology. I just love knowledge and history.
Me too.
I love that because I feel like that helps us to understand where we at. And I don't really think it's wrong and right when it comes down to the aftermath. but to understand it and to acknowledge it all is just beautiful. And that's one thing I don't agree with, when it's like you only supposed to have this, you're only supposed to have that. And just like another thing I was saying, you know how in the Old Testament they say that you shouldn't have no God between no God, no other idol besides God, and then you have Jesus in the New Testament, and how they combated that with saying it is God.
Yeah,
And
by the
then
Trinity, the Holy Trinity.
but that's exactly what they did. They had different deities that would come together and be, you know what I mean?
I said, if you look up at ancient Egypt, you have Baal, which was like the head god, and then all the other gods were under him. So there was singular God worshippers 6,000-7,000 years ago, but they don't want to talk about it, right? So if you think about that, that's a whole control mechanism. Is to say, and again, they want to say like you shouldn't have any other idols, because you can have other idols. You can worship money, you can worship power, you can worship sex, you can worship all these other things. It don't have to be a God they're speaking of. But again, this is the thing. And I hate to say it like this, but like you have crazies in every religion, you know, extremists. Yeah. But at the same time, like look at how many crazies there has been in Christianity. You know, what is his name? Like Ron Jones, the dude that killed all those people. You have all those other people. Like
drink the Kool-Aid.
So here, this is my last thing I'll say on it. Religion to me is bad, and I say that because spirituality is different. But if you're a religious person, then you're going to formulate and abide by certain laws and ways of thinking, and it's to control you, because you're taught not to question those things. And if you do question them,
go ahead, my bad. Let me
so like if you do question them, what do? They outcast you, they kill you, they, you know, whatever they do to you, something negative, something bad, like you're going to go to hell, you're going to do this, it's damnation, all this stuff. And all it is they don't want you to have the knowledge, because when you have the knowledge, you can't be controlled. And that's why Kanye, I tell everybody he's not crazy. He just can't, like nobody can control this guy. And I don't feel like, as a human, I don't think nobody should control me either. Like you have to conform to the, you know, laws of society. But when it comes to knowledge, like think about it. They say, what's the easiest way to hide something?
In your face.
No, put it in a book.
Bye. People don't read.
Oh
my God, that's so sad, because I don't be.
Yeah, so it's kind of like you gain so much knowledge from reading, but what it allows you to do as a person is the more you read, and like, see me, I don't read no non-fiction shit. Everything I read, I don't read no fiction stuff. Everything I read is non-fiction. It's history. It's you know, it's about your subconscious mind. It's about meditation. It's about all these other things, right? But once you start learning about these things, it opens your mind up, and you become more receptive to different ideas. And it allows you to have the freedom to look into other things and educate yourself. And then you can research things and formulate your own opinions. You don't have to go by what nobody else says, because you're doing the research yourself. That's why reading is so powerful. And that's why the 1% control the money, is because nobody ever, it's not a trickle down anything when it comes to financial literacy and stuff like that. It's the same principles. The world works off of power, which is knowledge. The more you know, the more, like, think about it. If you knew how to do things that millionaires do, you can replicate that and you can become a millionaire, you know? So they don't want you to have the power, which is the knowledge. You have the knowledge. Like, why do you think they burnt libraries and done all this stuff? Because they didn't want people to have the power of the knowledge.
Guess who said that at the beginning, though?
Who?
If you go back to religion, guess who gave them the power, the knowledge of good and evil?
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And because my thing, when you think about it, why the hell was if I'm in the Garden of Eden, and the devil is so bad, why did he get to be in the Garden of Eden?
Okay, well let's just go back to even Adam and Eve.
That's another lesson. We gotta have a continue, because I have so many thoughts.
Okay,
when I was young, I never got it.
One thought on that. Now I just want you to think about this. So there's two different stories of Adam and Eve. The first Adam and Eve story was the one that he made Adam and Eve from the dirt, right? So Lilith. So Lilith was doing bestiality and things like that. They turned into a demon. So
what you mean bestiality?
Look it up. She was fucking animals. She was doing all kind of stuff like that. She was like doing all kind of crazy stuff. So the reason why the second story of Adam and Eve, and he, took the rib, and then in that garden is when they said you can't eat from the fruit tree.
Oh, okay. I just need to do
the
a
fruit,
research.
hold on,
Okay.
the fruit tree is not a literal fruit. It was her punani. So he didn't want them having sex because they were naked in the garden. So think about this, right? You're naked in the garden. You're naked in the garden. They have sex. And what is the first thing they want to do? Now they feel shame. Now you feel this. There was no such thing, because how do you know to feel shameful
if you see all the animals doing it?
If you naked and it's normal. It wasn't until they had sex. That was the fruit. It was the fruit of life.
And you know what? That makes perfect sense now, because you know why? I thought that if they always was naked anyways, when they was able to, why would they be surprised that they were naked? They were always naked.
Because they would have never known. That's what the serpent told them. Because think about it. What does the Bible say? No premarital sex. Every other fucking animal in the world has sex. We're still
before they get married, before anything. A lot of them just rape them.
Right. So think about that. Like, again, it's not as literal as what people take it. It's not an apple. The apple of the forbidden fruit was.
Well, I thought it was knowledge. That's what I thought it was.
No, it wasn't knowledge. And so that's why they were kicked out of the garden, is because they were having sex. Because think about it.
So he never wanted humans to have sex?
It wasn't really designed for that. Because think about it. He was the one who created life. Now we have the control to create life. So on a fundamental basis, like, that wasn't the plan. And the main reason was because Lilith was doing all the bestiality. So he didn't want Eve to do anything to her body because of the bestiality of Lilith. So
then how they put it on Eve that she the one listen?
Because she the one that had to submit to the man.
But wouldn't it be both of them then?
It is, but again, think about in history of women. Women,
wow.
They always took the power away.
Sexual. Oh, I have to make it. Okay.
So
you got
that
me
opened
with
up,
ideas.
that opened up. That was the original sin. You see what I'm saying? You have to think of it in different terms than what we're taught. You have to
exactly. It's more metaphoric. That's why I say I would never downplay the Bible. I would never because even though I understand it, it's still special because it holds history and it holds different concepts. Even if we feel like, okay, you know what, this don't make sense. It still came from a concept of that person within that history. Right. You can take it from there, you know. Right. So wow. Yeah. I just want to say thank you, Wes. We're gonna have to talk about some more because I didn't even think about it like that. So now you got my mind like, wow, I didn't even think about it.
It's a lot deeper than what you subconsciously, were taught. So again, as you get knowledge and you look into things, that's where you'll start seeing other things make more sense. But there's a lot to the Bible, man. We could talk for hours, but yeah, it's
I'm honestly, that's one of my favorite. But even though it's so much around it. And I've read I read to like what was it? I think I read after they went and found the Nephilim. That's when I stopped. I got scared, which is the giants and stuff. I was like, oh my God, actually in the Bible, I haven't heard nobody talk about this.
I've got a book, the Dead Sea Scrolls, like the ones that they actually found in the cave. Like, I read the book. Like, there's so much stuff that once you put these other canons and texts that were left out the Bible and you put them in and you read them, a lot of the Bible makes more sense because now you have the missing pieces that wasn't included. So
like the book of Enoch. Okay, we're gonna have to get together. We're gonna have to make a separate video of this. I know I can come on your pod. This is so interesting to me. You're very, very knowledgeable. So thank you. And then I have somebody that said, I really appreciate you for joining the live, and you have so much knowledge and great insights to share. Thank you for sharing. There are so many things I've learned today. Felt like when you watch a good movie and feel like a whole different person. What?
Yeah.
We got to some things. Thank you, Wes, so much.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate it. But yeah, we're gonna have to link up if you don't mind. Like I would want some books and stuff like that because, like I said, just like she said, you don't really get this is rare, Yeah. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. Everybody sending out good energy.
Yeah. All right. You
Thank
have a good night.
you.
Bye.
That was interesting. Okay, I could talk with him for hours. So I had to like, wait a minute, share those books like a good movie. I figured you said a good movie. Yeah, but I'm gonna share those books. I'm gonna get more information from him, and I'm gonna share it to you guys too, and do some podcasts because he told me a lot of things. I was wanting to do series so bad, and I'm so stuck because I'm like, what should I do? What? But I would love to do things that I'm learning too. So, all right, Shipaka. Girl, I thought you said will we be I am doing readings now. I'm doing paid readings. So if you want to donate anything, I'll do a reading for you. You said when you said fear is learned, there's fear from religion. I feel that rules and control. You said, girl, we forgot about doing readings, right? But another thing I was going to say to him that it's evil because when you the word live or live, the backwards of it is evil. If you spell live, LIVE, the backwards of it spells evil. Can you believe that? So when you live in backwards, and what I meant to say with that is anything that prevents you from creation or having a free mind, a free will, is evil. So when you have religions, and I understand that part when he said it's not good, because when you are being restricted to believe this way, not knowing that every culture evolves, and you're being restricted to evolve yourself, that's evil. Etymology, look it up. Like he said, books and learning is so, and and that's so crazy because with AI, with a lot of stuff on the internet, you can change it. I mean, you could go to Wikipedia right now and change what you want to know. That's why books are so valuable. That's why each time a tribe or a country overtakes another country, they burn it. So we just got deep into that. Wow, wow, wow. But yes, I'm gonna have to come back with him and gain some energy. But yes, I'm gonna go ahead and go into the pick a card reading. If you guys are wanting to do that, you can. And let me go ahead and put a pick a card reading for us. Girl, I forgot we was doing the readings too because I was so in it. I was like, oh my goodness. Let me do a pick a card reading for us. Yes. This is very, very, very interesting, honey. I love to talk about things like that. I could talk about things like that forever. Literally. So I'm going to do my pick a card readings. Okay. So you guys just pick a number. All right. 1, 2, or 3. I'm going to give you the headlines or the energy for each pal. Okay, let's see. Okay. Okay. So this is going to be pal 1, okay? So first, what we're doing is pick a card reading if you're in here. So what we're going to do is if you want to participate, all you have to do is I'm going to read off 3 different cards. From those cards, you're going to pick a number for which readings you would like to have. So pick what card resonate. So the first card is going to be who you are when you are alone is who you are. The second one, understand the reason, lessons, and clarity, education. And the third one, once you realize you will be good regardless, life will get much easier. So pile 1 again, okay? Who you are when you alone is who you are. That's pile 1. If you want pile 1, put it in the chat. Pile 2, understand the reason, clarity, and education. Pile 2. Pile 3, once you realize you will be good regardless, life will get much easier. Okay? So let's lock those in. And let's do pile 1. Okay? Who you are when you alone is who you are. So, pile 1, the first we have, you said it's called etymology. So, etymology is, let me see how to spell it. Etymology. The study of origins of words. It is etymology. Etymology. So Seven Balmer is the man who got me onto that. So E-T-Y. Who was after that? E-T-Y. Etymology. Okay. So you got 3. Okay. So first we're going to do number 1. This is who you are, is who you are when you are alone. And we got the Wheel of Fortune and we got the Hermit. So with this card, it's basically, you see, she's shutting down the internet, shutting down communication. She's in a cloak. Reserve. Wheel of Fortune, moving in the right direction. Something from the universe is basically trying to move you forward, guide you. So it's like turn away from what we was talking about as far as media, okay, and moving in the right direction within your own self. You are who you are when you alone. A lot of people don't like being alone, but that's the energy you will need in order to create a new path in your life. Okay. Then you have I Got Your Back, 25, 24, 2, 4, or 6, or sex. 6 is sex. Okay. It took 3 energies to make you. 3 plus 3 is 6. And the reason why I said it took 3 energies, it's going to be you, and you come from your mother and father. That's 3. For me to mate with another man, it's going to be him. He comes from his mother and father, which is 3. 3 plus 3 is 6, which is sex. Seven Balmer. Look him up. This is his name. He brought that to my awareness too. Also, Dolores Cannon. I'm gonna give y'all a list of people. Seven Balmer. Anyways, okay. So the universe has got your back. So you got 2 plus 4, which is 6, is sex, which is creation, which is the Wheel of Fortune, which is turning off anything that is causing a distraction. Okay. Then we have Amara. Where you be called to journey to? Is it me, or why is these cards like making sense? I don't understand that. So it's saying, where's your journey? The same thing with the Wheel of Fortune. Where you been journey to? What is yours? Because we all forget that we are on this journey. Then we have journal, you guys. Journal. What? I'm not making it. I promise. I don't. Journaling. Shutting down the computer and actually reading and writing. Pen to paper. Then you have the 7th chakra, okay? Grace. And I think Eugenia got this one. It says, the grace of a higher power is with you, and you move through life knowing this truth. I believe in a higher power, and you believe in a higher power, and you know that it's within and around you, offering assistance and guidance. You surrender all fear and burdens to a higher power. You are open to receive grace, and you trust in a higher power. You are worthy. Wow. So that is the reading for who you are when you are alone, is who you are. And that makes sense. Hey, Cheryl, thank you for coming in the building. Hey, so PAL 2, understand the reason, lesson, clarity, education. So I hope PAL 2 is just as good, honey, because PAL 1 was on. Oh, so we got the 3 of Wands. You see her? She's looking for the future. She's on the shore looking out. The Wands represents ambition, drive, passion, courage. She's seeing where she can go. So the 3 of Wands represents planning, looking out for the future, visions. Then you have justice, okay? Fair, balance, being balanced, knowing what to cut out, knowing what to hold back. This is a balanced energy, a very powerful energy. So with this is saying, where do you want to go in life, and is it balanced? Meaning, is it good for your spirit, your mental, and your physical? Okay, because a lot of times we look at our vision and we look at it for our physical, for money. We have to be balanced for us to be truly happy, because there's a lot of people with money but are miserable. There are a lot of people that have money and commit suicide because it's not always about money. So when you're looking through how your future wants to be, what you want to envision, remind yourself to look out and to remind yourself to look out and make sure it's balanced. It goes with your mental, it goes with your physical, and it goes with your mental, physical, and spiritual well-being. Okay. And just like I told you, Jayla, when you start seeing, you about to be in the worm wrong with this etymology, just like you said. Life spelled backward is evil, and live spelled backward is devil. I'm telling you, it's the backwards of living. That's what I'm saying. The Bible is a dope book too, but you got to have to see through it. I'm telling you, y'all. Now y'all gonna see too. Y'all start researching too. Y'all gonna see too. Y'all gonna be like, oh my goodness. You're gonna be like, wow. Especially listen to Stephen Bomber. You definitely gonna be like, wow. Dolores Cannon too. But you gain your own knowledge. I never tell somebody just listen to somebody. Gain your own knowledge. Whatever will stick with you will stick with you. Trust me. But yes, so when you're looking for and envisioning your future with this one, make sure you're balanced. All right. And 3, that's why we're in 3D, the third dimension, plus time. Okay. Length, width, and height. That's what makes us up. 2 3s is 6, which is sets, which is creation, which makes another 3. We can get into numerology too. I'm telling you, there's a lot of stuff. I was like, wow. Here's 11. 2 1s. Okay. 2. So 11 and 2. Bring it. This has to do with your future. Bring it into focus. Understand the reasons, the lessons, the clarity. Okay. And let's go to the Oracle card. Woo! And I did a video on this on my page. If y'all want to go to videos and y'all will look. The Akasha Records. This is for this PAL 2. The Akasha Records. Your guidance is divinely guided. Your guidance is divinely guided. Your guidance is divinely guided. Because you have this justice. When you balance yourself, it's divine, honey. It's divine. Y'all, guess I'm not lying. I swear this was random. I did not put these together. This is random. The card at Sacred Card says, make a vision board. Make a vision board. When we talk about visions, make a vision board. Walk into your path. Bring it on. Come on now. What you doing? You have the reasons. You have the understanding. You have the clarity. This is for PAL 2. Okay, this is the sacred chakra, creative manifestations. Creative manifestations. You have the ability to manifest and create positive outcomes in your life. It is time for you to manifest what you need. You ask yourself, what do I need? You are optimistic and creative in carrying out all tasks that come in your way, even mundane ones. and you maintain a positive attitude in all you do. You are open to receive and you're deserving. You're open to where you receive and you're deserving. Oh, sure, Adams, I'm so sorry. She said, I just lost my job. Don't know if I can find a better job or just what to do. Stay in that space. Let me finish with this and then I'll get to you, okay? All right. So this is understand the reason, lessons, and clarity. This is saying make a vision board. What is your vision? People forget tomorrow will come. What are you doing? A lot of people just want to complain. What are you doing? What are you doing? Wow, honey, these cards, honey, I want to see what Pal 3 has to say. Now, Pal 3, once you realize you will be good regardless, life will get much easier. This is Pal 3. Ooh, this stuff came out hard, honey. We have the 9 of Swords. Ooh, so you see darkness. When you see darkness, a lot of people is unknown, don't know where to go. You see her up in her bed crying, sleepless night. Swords represents clarity, cutting people out, conflict, mental, basically mental. So with this energy, she's mentally in anguish. Then the second card, though, honey, the High Priestess. You got the crescent moon. What's going on tonight? Isn't it a crescent moon tonight? So with this, you have this woman sitting like, listen, I know what she got information. She got the laptop. That's information, all information, or a lot of it. Okay. So what's this saying? You're going to have to get information. You need more knowledge. Okay. And if you look at it, they both black too. That's crazy. There's more knowledge. Get knowledge. Just talk about work on your knowledge. Work on getting more information. That's what you need to be focusing on because it's unknown. You looking at the unknown. Some things you don't know with this card. With the High Priestess, she's going to make things known. That's your intuition. It can be subconscious or conscious. But once you realize you're going to be good regardless, it will get much easier because you the High Priestess, baby. Especially when you're dealing with the moon. Who picked Pal 3? Especially what you're doing with the moon. You already know. Honey. Brand spanking new, number 9. What's the last number of the numerology? 9. Because after you hit 9, you go back to what? 1 and 0. 9 is the completion, honey. Brand spanking new. Whoever you bet the boss out. Who is this? It says Anna, grandmother of Jesus. What? Anna, the grandmother of Jesus. Hold on. Seeding the light, laying foundations, a divine plan. So whoever this is, girl, you don't realize this is a divine plan. This is divine plan. This is Anna, the grandmother of Jesus. This is something that is allowing you. So when you have the grandmother of a spirit or energy source like Jesus, that means it's already within you. That means your children, or your children are the future, okay? This is doing stuff, understanding. And if you look at this picture, I don't know if you can see, but she's over a whole city. You're somebody that's connected to a bigger community just for you. Your happiness also can help a community. Who is this, honey? Write a gratitude list. Write a gratitude list. Dang, anybody doing, but write a gratitude list every morning. What are you grateful for? You got to start. See, the thing is, and I heard this Egyptian proverbs too. When people want good things to go in their life, what people did do a period of time in Egypt is they would do good things for that whole week. Like, okay, I want this to go in my favor. I want to be able to get a promotion. I want to be able to do this. So what I'm going to do until that day is start going out doing good deeds. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Just like when people go to jail, all of a sudden they're the best people in the community because they're trying to show the judge that I am good for the community. That's what it's saying. If you want things good in your life to happen, start putting good things in your life. mentally and physically and spiritually. One of the easiest things you can do is write down and program your mind what you're grateful for, because that's already going to put you in a positive mindset. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Let's get the chakra card. It's the third chakra. You can look it up. Solar plexus, self-worth and self-esteem. You honor yourself by doing things that please you. Didn't I just say that? That please you, not only things that please others. So the key to out of this is pleasing yourself first. And sometimes, whoever in Power 3, sometimes that's the hardest thing to do, because you put the weight on everybody. And it's going to look, to some people like, dang, she don't care about this. She don't care about this. The only way you can break free and allow and to help your community is if you're happy. You're happy. Eugenia, you did 3. Good, girl. Good. Is if you're happy. You can't worry about nobody. It will fall. It will come. It will come. This is a divine plan. But you have to really believe that. You have to be happy first. Everything else will follow in plan. And sometimes that plan might not be the best plan. It might not be perfect. Sometimes we look at things and it's like it has to be perfect. No, it is what it is. At the end of the day, nothing's perfect, baby. As long as you're happy. This is your life. And sometimes we take on too many other people's opinion to where we forget our own opinion. We become miserable, but we're miserable because we see everybody else happy. No, it's the opposite. You have to be happy first, and who else is happy eventually will understand. And if they do not understand, that's their own life. That's their own life. Okay. This is coming from self-worth, which is yourself, and self-esteem, which is yourself. Okay. It says you are empowered as you release the need to live up to other people's unrealistic expectation of you. When you respect and approve of yourself, others will naturally do the same. You teach others how to treat and respect yourself by how you treat and respect yourself. You know you're worthy of love and respect. The boundaries you create with others will acknowledge your self-worth. And you know how much that is lacking. I want to say a good 80% of people don't have it. So, Eugene, I feel like this reading was point on for you, sweetie. A lot of yellows and blacks in your reading. Look how many cards that was yellow and black. Okay. But I'm also seeing with you're the high priestess with the moon, which is so why that keep coming up. Girl, you better look into that. It's been happening for years now. And you like the night? Something gotta do something. You gotta look into that, girl. I don't know. You gotta look into that, because that's at this point it can't be no coincidence. It just can't. Write a gratitude list. This is your energy, but with this energy is gonna turn into this. Because look how much of it you have. It's building you're being resilient. Okay, resilient. Gratitude, okay? A community. And when I say community, you can hold up a community. It doesn't mean you got to go out there and preach. It doesn't mean you got to go out there and preach. What it means is your essence. Sometimes all it takes is a smile. People can feel your energy. You have what they call it, the vibe. It's your vibe, vibrations. And vibrations, some people empath can pick up on vibrations. Even if you say, no, I'm fine, I'm all right. We can still pick up on that. It's your vibration. Also, with your vibration, you're not a lot of things, a lot of realities. Because you think about light. This is and that's why I love science too. The different colors and the way we see the spectrums of color is the vibration of the light itself. Did y'all know that? basically, once you vibrate in a higher energy or a higher with compassion and love, which is on a higher energy, which is that helping you with that is that gratitude list, helping you vibrate higher means just with good stuff. Low vibrational energy cannot live there. This would dissipate. Now, don't get me wrong. Life, you're going to have good and bad. That's just life. That's period. But you're going to be more resilient, and people are going to look at you for their strength because you did it. And then you know what else is vibration? Sound. Because if depending on how loud a sound is, you vibrate. So once you can start speaking your truth, and that will change your life and change the community, just like Anna. Girl, this was a good reading tonight, y'all. Oh, we're leaving. I'm leaving y'all at 111. It's 111 again. Who got 111? I think that was the second pal. Wow, you guys. Thank you, you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for everything that has been the readings. Thank you for everybody who donated, for people who've been here. We're going to get into this energy again. Like I said, I'm going to come on here Saturday. I'm going to do some research on all the topics we're talking about and try to gain more knowledge and do some lives on that. But I just love this reading, you guys. Thank you so much. And you're still here. You're welcome. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Cheryl, let me pull a couple cards for you, girl, because I know you one of my A1 demons. Let me see what's going on. So you said you lost your job. You don't know what to do. First of all, you have to understand this is the point right now when you lose your job. In the face of difficulties, you have to be strong. And what I mean by that is positivity first, okay? This is hard. It's hard to be positive when you lose a job. It's hard. It's not easy. But you have to start with that energy off the bat because you have to have that vibration, okay? So that's the first thing I already know. If you look, oh my God, I can't find you. Oh my God. That's not the energy you want to go into, because you know what? Just because you lost that job, it doesn't mean there's no other jobs. So we know that off the bat. Let's start with some facts, okay? There's not other jobs. I mean, there are other jobs. There are jobs that pay better. There are jobs that are in your area. There's are jobs that even if it's not, you can get a job until you get another job. Okay? You can make it. Those are the ideas that have to run through your head. Make a list, write them down. Tell yourself anytime you have a thought that's telling you anything negative about this situation. Oh, it's 12:12 where you at. Negative about this situation. You're going to have to read a couple of those thoughts that you have to combat it. Okay? I truly, truly believe in that. Even if I'm not saying all of a sudden it's going to make you're going to get a job out the blue. I'm not saying that. But if you're going to go through this, you might as well show your testimony that, you know what, even in trying times, I was able to be happy. That's a bad bitch. Because what's going to happen is going to happen. You don't have to be sad. Now, you can have a sense of urgency, which that means I need to go ahead and put my stuff on Indeed. I need to go update my resume and do this and do that. You're going to have to do that regardless. You don't have to be scared. You don't have to fear. This happens to a lot of people. How are you going to move through it forward? Okay. What opportunities now you can learn or you can go into? Start looking at it from a physical, mental, and spiritual level. You're going to be all right. What was that? I don't know what number you had. Once you realize you will be good regardless, life was going to get much easier. Once you realize you're going to get a job, life's going to be okay anyways. A lot of your stress is going to go away. So you need to be on that mental note anyways, okay? Because stressing and being upset is not going to do nothing but stress you out. And everybody knows stress is the number one causes for diseases because you're not at ease. They be telling us with these words, dis-ease. Okay. So you gotta beat that. You know, because at the end of the day, you're gonna have to do what you gotta do regardless. So you might as well think like this. You're still gonna have to get your resume, go out there and find a job. Might get said no to. You might as well say, okay, you know what? At least I get to sleep in for 2 or 3 days. Be smart. Have a plan. Go out and do it. Keep those thoughts in your mind. Let me go ahead and get some cards for you, okay? Then I'll get an oracle card for you. But at the end of the day, that's all you can do. And I tell people this all the time. Do your best and leave the rest. Stop trying to hold on to stuff. Sometimes things like this be the best thing to happen to you. And I don't happen to me like that. Promise you. I was at this job for 10 years at a call center, you know, making minimum wage in case I do extra to get extra money. Didn't want to leave the job. I loved it. Finally got tired of my job. They was messing with me. I quit. 2 weeks later, I work now. Been working there for 5 years, almost 5 years coming up. I work straight from home over here, making triple what I made. And I get to clock out. Today, I just left early. Was struggling and upset. If I knew then, those last 2 weeks, I should have just been happy and enjoying my little vacation. And I was going to have a better job. I'm just saying, you never know. You don't know. So don't put since you don't know, don't just automatically think negative because you don't know. Just you see, I don't know what to do. So you don't know. Right? So go ahead and put some good stuff in your spirit because you don't know. Oh, the Hierophant. This is mental. This is mentor. You see how you got these two people looking at her. So this can be finding someone that has connections, reaching out to people for networking, mentorships and mentors, old mentors. Temperance, Sagittarius energy, balance. Something with balance. If you want to move forward, your mind, your body, and your spiritual and your mental are going to have to move forward. Okay? I'm going to have to move forward. Let me get another card. Yeah, the Hangman. So this is someone who feels stuck. They can't go nowhere. But that gives you time too. If he can't go nowhere, he has enough time to what? Think about stuff. New start. Ace of Wands. You see back there is a city. Okay, you see Wands represents drive, ambition, fire, passion. A new start. Think about your new start. Do you want to do what you even wanted to do? You want to do something different? I mean, this time, don't be sad. I'm seeing that some of the cards coming out represent some sad stuff, but I'm not even going to, acknowledge it. But look, drawing your whole life. Redrawing your whole life. Being bare. Now you're vulnerable. Now you don't have a job. You're bare. A lot of people look at, oh my God, you don't have a job. Oh my God. But think about it. That don't mean nothing. Only if you think so. You're going to make it no matter what. No matter what the outcome is, you're going to make it. You have to believe that. Like, life will get easier if you truly believe God, if you're religious, if you truly believe in spirituality, that it's great. But if you really believe that and you know you're that being, you really got nothing to worry about. Just put in the work. Just do your best. But I'm seeing networking, putting yourself out there, looking at different avenues and enjoying your time out until you find a job. Do what you got to do. If you got to do you know what you got to do. Try your best. That's it. Try your best, but don't put too much on you because stress do lead to diseases. I work for a prescription company, and I'm telling you, there's a lot of Americans that's on at least one prescription. A lot of it high blood cholesterol. A lot of people are on sertraline and quinapril, which is like depression. Come on now, don't you have to know? Okay, if I put my body in this state, it's going to be used to it, and it's going to start making those same hormones, which are unhealthy because I'm not at ease. I'm at dis-ease. So this is what you have to take this information for all your life. Not just for now, but for all your life. Because if you truly believe you are going to be okay, you have that connection with God, Allah, whatever, then you know you're going to be all right. You're just going to have to you're going to have to get through it. So this test is going to define your test. This testimony is going to be your test. How you going to go through it? Because when some real stuff go around, that's how real people show themselves. And it can be ugly. So make sure you're not ugly to yourself. Okay. Hopefully that gave you some insight, girl. And like I said before, the biggest thing I can know is look at the positive, focus on the positive, and do the best you can to get another job or whatever that looks like. And that's it. No time to be negative. No time to put more, stress on your body. No time to be, oh my God, to worry, because it is already what it is. You don't got to put extra on it. It is. It already is. You lost your job. Don't put extra on it. It's already what it is. Now, what we going to do about it? You're in control of this life. What we going to do about it? It's not like I can't get another job. It's not like if I can't find a job that I want, it's never going to happen. Who said that? You don't know. We don't know. Let me get you another card. Writing a letter of gratitude. And I already told you about writing those good things that's going on. What kind of job you want. Start manifesting. This is when you really have to use your techniques when things not feeling good. Dream journal. A lot of writing. Just take care of your body. You say I would be more positive. Be positive and do your best. Like I said, networking. The best way to get into a job is if you know people, networking, going on Indeed, talking to people, getting yourself out there. You're going to be all right. You say I would be more positive. Yes, be more positive. Or be more grateful. You don't got to fake the fun. Just be grateful for what you had. But y'all, I want to say thank you to everybody that's in this live. Thank you to all my supporters. I probably am going to cut up this video, and I tell myself to do it all the time, but I'll be so tired after work. To cut up these videos and put them on the page, like to do the pick of cards, just in case y'all want to go back. Y'all don't want to go through the whole video. I'm going to start doing that. Picking the segments that me and my live guest was talking about. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to have him up here more often if he does not mind. And if anybody ever wanted to come up here and tell their story, just sometimes to just tell your story, you never know who's listening. That's why I have this thing, my logo or saying is come share and get read, because, anybody can get read. You can tell your story and I can be reading it. And now I have knowledge from it, good, bad, or draw. I have knowledge from it. We all need each other. So I would love people to come up and just tell your story. Talk about what you're interested in. Talk about your life. Why not share? You might can help somebody that I can't help just by telling you your experience. We're going to make it, okay? It's 1, 2, 3 on the clock here. I got 3 people and 13 likes. All these synchronicities keep going on. You're going to be okay because you'll have no choice but to be okay. All right? Thank you, everybody. I'm going to go out with my intro. And I will see you guys Saturday morning. I'm not for sure what time, but it's going to be probably like around 11, 12. Standard Time in the morning, okay?